I quickly need to mute the stream. Hi, everyone. Intro, right. I am very organized. I'm incredibly organized. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Roll Plus Bond charity live stream. This is the fourth time, I think, that this is happening. Time is weird. Oh, the third time. 20, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, it's the fourth time. We are a online tabletop RPG community brought together by fandom and held together by friendship. And we love to play games and tell stories together. And we are currently running a live stream. We are in the second day of a 72-hour charity live stream where we are raising money for Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline connects trans people to the community support and resources they need and survive. And their mission statement is that we, in the sentence which I said with they, we need to survive. The we need to survive means that Trans Lifeline is run by and for trans people. They have a hotline active in the US and Canada and offer microgrants for name changes and people who are incarcerated or have been recently released and are available to US residents. And the reason why we are raising money for Trans Lifeline is because the community voted on that. And if you want to donate yourself, you can go to donate.rollplusbond.com, I think is the address. And also check out the link further down below on the channel page. And also, oh, cool. Thank you very much for posting this in chat. My apologies for kind of rambling through this introduction, but I hope it was okay. My name is Eric. But there are other players here with me who should introduce themselves because they are more important, and then we talk about the game we are playing. So, Adam, why don't you introduce yourselves?
All right. Well, I'll do so right now. Hello, everybody. My name is Adam. I'm really looking forward to playing Armour Astir with everyone. I guess Twitter would be at AdamFCBrody if you'd like to. I guess I don't know. I started tweeting again after not really tweeting for years, and now I tweet almost purely through Buffer, which is a way of tweeting that means I don't actually have to look at Twitter, which frankly is the best way of doing it. Anyway, that was a very long introduction. I'm really looking forward to playing.
And Ian.
I'm Ian. I don't have Twitter or anything to plug on here, but I'm very excited for some fancy mechs this morning.
Yeah. And we were hoping to also be joined by Jamie, but unfortunately it seems that Jamie's internet, who has been making problems yesterday evening, is still causing problems. We are just hoping that it solves itself and utter silent curses to crumbling public infrastructure that prevents people from playing cool games across the whole globe. So with that being said, we are today playing Armour Astir Advent, which is a game is a high fantasy role-playing game about striking back against an authority that seeks to control you. It is a game of rival pilots clashing in steel-clad Astirs, of soldiers holding their own against the odds, and of spies and diplomats twisting the world to their ends. It is not a game of careful preparation or pleasant truces. It is hard to change the world without taking a risk. The game has been made by Briar Sovereign. You can find their work over on weregazelle.itch.io. I highly recommend it. Also, it will be the game that will be run in the upcoming season of Friends at the Table, but probably know that. Most people watch this or whatever. Anyways, so because this is a game about struggling against authority and big war machines and all that kind of stuff, just in general, general overall content warnings for this. there will be violence. There will probably like some some like notions towards like imperialism and the general awfulness of that comes with it, and colonization. We have a document that I'm going to share that has like our like the lines and veils that we have collectively decided for ourselves. Like the lines are gratuitous violence, detailed descriptions of injuries, and sexual violence. Those things are our lines, and veils is violence against animals. In general, like, and this is like how I personally run games, is I personally am not interested in lingering on like displays of violence for a long time, and I don't like describing these things. So like these things won't just, like, from my end, probably most likely won't come up. Like, again, there will be violence, but the way I look about this, and I kind of also like approach it in the games that I'm making, is things will probably mostly exploding, and not really cool, I get feedback. I'll take care of this. And yeah, that's that. I'll have to fix some stuff in the overlay. That's the problem when you're both the host and the other part. I will take care of this at some point, I swear. Once I have like a head that has the capacity for it. I have no idea what's going on with the games. I just hope that it would work. Okay. What else? We have a game. We have lines and veils. We have other things. I forgot to introduce myself, but that's okay. My name is Mocha or Eric. I had a Twitter account. I rarely use it anymore. Find me in Coast, like at coast.org/Mocha. And yeah, also have video games that I mention at the end, I guess. Oh, by the way, if you're donating, you can like enter a raffle and win one of them. That's also like a thing you can do. Okay. What's up next? Things. Let's talk a little bit about characters, and then we go into setting. Does this sound good to everyone?
Sounds great.
Sounds good.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so Adam, who are you going to play?
Okay, so I looked at through the playbooks of a story about valiant rebels and giant robots and wily magicians, and I looked through all of those playbooks, and I thought, what if I played a butler? So my name is Frey. My pronouns are she, they, and Frey is long-standing. Frey and Frey's family have been in the service of the Coils, which is one of the noble families in Mokka's fantastic setting. For as far back as she can remember, there used to be bonds of quite strong bonds of loyalty between Frey and Frey's family and this sort of like family of nobles, but they have become collapsed and torn asunder recently, thanks largely due to the rising, I guess, scion of the Coil household, Apophis Coil, who is an absolute, who is awful even beyond the general awfulness of large noble families, and as Frey Frey, having been told that she is about to be placed into Apophis's service, has decided that she may not be a born rebel, but she will do absolutely anything to avoid that fate. Sort of just as a look, um, Frey is what's the darn? Oh, hold on. Sorry. Frey's look is based on the model Ashley Graham, and specifically the outfit she wore at the Boss SS23 show. You should imagine Frey as just being kind of a larger woman in, I guess, her late 20s, early 30s, wearing a thick black turtleneck, sort of loose grey and white camo trousers, long black boots, hair up in a tight bun, and then the one accent of color is one gold earring that is shaped like a lock. And that's Frey.
So cool. Ian, who are you playing?
Well, I'm playing Grizz Agaric, but I think we left out the most important part of Frey, which is that Frey has a friend.
Oh, yes. I have a very big, very fluffy friend named Oscar, who is a giant white Samoyed dog. I think for those of you who have seen Spy X Family, imagine the giant white dog in that, and that's that's Frey's best friend.
Okay. Yeah, I will be playing Grizz Agaric. Grizz's pronouns are he, they. Grizz is the advocate from the Armour Encore playbooks. Grizz is a weird little guy. There is in the dossier some art for them, but if this means anyone to anything, they are a Tarkir goblin look. So they're small. They're also white and furry, like Oscar, though probably a lot less clean than Oscar is. Grizz has his mech, the Mycorrhiza, which again, there's a couple of links in that dossier that was linked, but is like a giant rotund suit of armor that is torn and corroded and all sorts of has lots of gaps in it, and through every one of those gaps is like different mushrooms and other fungal growths are bursting forth, and instead of a helmet, the top of it is just a large, flat, broad mushroom cap extending over the top. As far as Grizz, and just to note, even if, due to technical issues, Jamie isn't able to join us today, we know that our cause, which I'm sure we'll get into, tends to favor wearing like utility poncho-ish looks. Grizz tends to wear theirs thrown back like a cape, very Clint Eastwood Man with No Name style. I think I hit everything there, unless I'm missing something too that someone caught.
Do you also have a dog? I mean, no, probably not.
I do not. I just have lots of dirt and mushrooms growing out from in my fur.
But honestly, that's almost as good.
Yeah, you've got fur already.
To be honest, I also keep forgetting about the dog. So that's my problem, honestly. Because why would I forget about the dog? Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the setting. Okay, imagine space like it is here, which is dark and empty. And now imagine space, but like there's like a lot of like plants and life growing in it. it's probably still dark, but like also, it kind of looks like a weird gigantic mess of a garden. A little bit, and I don't have like a good visual touchstone like that I can share, but like one thing, like every time when I think about like something like that, a good touchstone for me is the like parts of the starting area in the video game Sunless Skies, if folks are aware of that, which is kind of like in a similar vein where like, okay, you're in space, there are like suns around and all that kind of stuff and planets, but also like stuff is growing on asteroids, and like there are like plant bridges and all that kind of stuff. So think about that, and now think about an authority, an empire in some way where we couldn't find a good name, or like I couldn't find a good name. If anyone here, like any one of you, like finds a cool name, also like in chat, like if someone has something, feel free to like drop it, because I couldn't find one that I was happy with. So right now it's just the empire, who looked up into the sky at some point after they colonized their whole planet and thought, you know what? The only thing that should shine among the stars is humanity. And so they set out into space to colonize it and to basically enclose every star that they can find. Their like ships or carriers or whatever look like big British country estates that are just floating in space. And what they do when they arrive in a new star system is they position themselves above the like system star, and like I imagine it like kind of looking like a big UFO catcher, like extends outwards under them, and basically they put the sun in prison to bring order into like the vast life chaos that is space, and to turn it into something that is more like, reasonable for them, which I think in the end, like we talked a little bit before this started, looks a lot like English gardens. If you're not aware what an English garden looks like, it's the kind of park that tries to look like it's like a normal natural landscape, but it's actually completely like maintained and created by human beings. And it's kind of like the same vibe. So if you imagine like these big like overgrown like asteroids and all that kind of stuff, and then imagine them looking like a well-trimmed lawn, or like a well-trimmed like piece of grass, probably with some hedge animals on it and stuff like that. And yeah, so they imprison the sun, and that's basically our setting here. The Coil family has planted their estate above this system's sun, and is siphoning up resources for their stuff. Also, by the way, we will talk about their mechs in like at some point as well, because that's like another like whole other like mess. And siphoning up resources. And what I also think is that these prisons kind of also like work like a lens, so they can can decide in which direction the sun shines, which also means they can basically control where something grows and in which way, and they can also take it away from like living beings that are there. So it's like obviously a place and like a tool of power for them, and they have that, and today, or like this is like a special occasion for them, however, because this marks a day where they will send out like the first of their own estates to colonize a new system. The son of the Coil family, the firstborn son of the Coil family, is about to become get his new, like his own estate, and set out into space and like do this mess all over in like a different place. And that's basically what we're here to take a look at and hopefully prevent, in order for them to launch this estate, they will have to carry a piece of like this system's sun, take it out of it and carry it into to the new estate, basically to power it up and to give it enough energy to like reach its destination. And like this is like a whole ceremony for these people where they it's basically like an Olympic like torch relay thing, where the head of the estate is carrying the head of the old estate is carrying the piece of the sun in their gentleman, which is the name of the mechs that they are piloting, over to the new estate, hands it over to the owner of the new estate, kind of like a passing of the torch thing, and all that kind of stuff. And obviously this is all awful, and this shouldn't continue. So let's talk a little bit about all of that. The cause itself, and that's like again like something I pitched this group, is this is basically where like whatever so Armour Astir has like two major things. This is like the authority, which is like the overall structure of power that you're trying to overcome, and the cause, which is the group of people that are trying to overcome the authority. And there are different factions and all that kind of stuff. Obviously, for one shot, you don't really have to like go very deep into this, because like you don't have to like come up with like several factions for like an authority that will only be on screen for like a few hours. So we'll just overgo that. However, like the cause, I think this is like where the cause actually forms itself as like a unified force. What happened before was like local resistance in some way, but not like in a larger organized manner. And this is basically the first attempt at like a larger scale operation for these people. And the carrier that like this is all happening, and this is like another part in Armour Astir, that like there's like a carrier which is basically a moving home base for the group of players. The carrier in this case is an old overgrown fake castle or fake estate or fake ruined estate that is somewhere like floating in space, in this like weird garden of these people, that has been neglected and ignored. And basically you all have been I don't know as much about know that much about like Frey, if like she was there, like, but overall like Gris, you definitely like have been there, and this is where you have been basically like organizing yourself. So like just in general, like Frey, were you like there, like in general, like if like once, how are you getting your briefing in this case? Are you there? Are you like, is there like weird communication happening? What do you think?
I think that Frey is so I think we need to establish a form of communication that allows me to operate at a distance to Grizz, but also like basically means that we can keep talking, we can be in touch with each other pretty much constantly. I think that is what I would propose. I'm very down to sort of be receiving a briefing as like a hologram in the ruins. But I think my position and like the reason that I am useful to the cause is that I am somewhere inside I am inside the procession, I guess, or at least like the estate that is currently holding the fragment of the sun.
Yeah, like the way I've been thinking about this is so obviously when there's like something like that, there are like two things, and maybe we can like slightly shift towards like something like a briefing where you can frame this a little bit better than me just like talking in a very like generalist terms. So there's a briefing happening. The briefing is being run by the ship's captain, and I'm not going to apologize for the name, who's like known as Captain Left-Handed Commander. They use they them pronouns. they are tired, and they look like a toad, kind of like a tired version, like toad or frog, depends. Kind of like a tired version of like Slippy from Star Fox, probably something like that. They have like a very old, dirty uniform that they found somewhere. He has a cup of coffee in their hands, and yeah, it's like basically laying down what the situation here is. So the ceremony is happening fairly soon, and this is like one or like the main like organizing thing, and the procession is going through like so the new estate is a bit further outwards from the star system because it's like, it's a bit easier to get away from like the center of it and all of that. So the piece of the sun actually has to be physically transported over there, and this is where the procession happens. And the procession itself is kind of like built, I think, like a fairground ride. So there are like, it goes through like a set path that has been previously been prepared, and I think there's like meant to be fake combat happening. So they build like fake gun encampments and all that kind of stuff to show that in order to bring the light of like humanity out into space, you need to go through adversity or some bullshit. And this is why they've built it that way. And so that has to happen while at the same time at the new estate, and I think this is where Frey might be. There's like, because it's a ceremony and all that kind of stuff, there's a party happening. And they want you to be there. And obviously you're the attendant of the new, like head of the new estate, right? Or you're meant to be transferred over to him. If I recall correctly, right?
Yeah, I think that the transfer of the transfer of servitude has happened.
Yeah. So there are like two things where I think you might be. Either way, you are already there, or you're part of the procession while you're being transferred. It really depends on like how we want to set this up, because also again, like all of this was kind of like planned with like one additional player. So we'll have to see about that. So we can shift you around, but at the same time, I think you being at the party would be a bit more interesting, I think.
Yeah, that works, and I think that makes sense given my role as like a producer of service. I think one thing I wanted to get clarification on is like, I guess in my head, spatially, what I am seeing is that there's like two big manor country houses kind of floating against the void with sort of expanding expanses of like alien greenery surrounding them, and then there's like a sort of and there's like a literal path from one to the other, that sort of like from one of these like expanded gardens into the other garden, and that is like where the procession is currently happening. Is that like, have I spatially got that right?
That sounds good to me. I don't think I ever thought about it that long, but yeah, kind of like that.
Cool.
I actually kind of like the idea of them maybe having to like basically carving that path out of like parts of like that system that were still a bit more like unruly at the same time. And that's the other part, is because they can direct the direction of like the sunlight, they basically, and that's the other part of like why this is important, because for this, like for your carrier to attack the new estate, and that's the overall thing, you have basically two objectives, or like overall the objective is to prevent the new estate from leaving. That's the overall objective. There are like several ways you can do that, and I think Captain Commander like lays it out. Like there are like several things where like that might help, or how we can do that. Obviously, we don't have that much resources. But we have enough. Means here to, as long as the sun like roughly shines into this part of space, we can operate our own building in such a way that we could launch an attack on the new estate. However, it like wouldn't do much if like the sun piece arrives there, because then like their defenses get strong and all that kind of stuff. And also, once they realize that they attack us, or like that we attack them, apologies, that we attack them, they will close up like the current opening in the sun prison, and which will make us lose like our power. However, if we could secure the sun piece, we could use it like basically to like keep powering up like whatever gives us energy or gives our building energy in that regard. So that would help. So getting the sun piece would be nice. It would also it could also be used as like a way to destroy the estate. In general, they are like the preferred outcome would be to take the estate over, because again, it's like a powerful thing that like can control larger parts of space, and we can definitely use that to our like for our purposes as well. Having the sun piece under our control would also help us a lot, because basically it's a smaller sun to a degree. And if you're like in a part of space where like the sun is currently not shining, you can use it to basically keep the plant life around like healthy to a degree. So in that regard, it would be good to like get that thing and maybe not destroy it. But overall, the main goal is prevent them from leaving, and all these other parts, get the sun piece, take over the estate versus destroy it, and all that kind of stuff is like up to your discretion in that regard, and we have to react to what's happening. But that's the general idea. And I think he like shows up like a map, and what I kind of want here for the map to be is like a physical thing where basically the part, like it's moss or something like that, and the terrain and all that kind of stuff is kind of like growing out of like a slab of moss, and like showing the path, and you can see where it's going through. And the important part here is there's like several checkpoints, obviously, because the head of the estate is like moving through a part of space, and like they have a security detail, and they are in there like gentlemen and all that kind of stuff, but you obviously want to make sure that nothing bad is happening. So there are checkpoints that they're passing, and like if they are not in like hitting a certain time frame, they will be like people will take notice of that. So there are like several things that might be a problem, but again, it depends on like what resources you have, what you can do there, and like if you can't like do that, that's fine. But these are like the things that we have to keep in mind, and yeah, that's kind of that. What we know right now, I guess.
I think when Captain Commander starts talking about capturing the estate and taking the fragment of the sun for ourselves, I think Grizz is folding their arms and narrowing their eyes as Captain Commander is basically going, oh, we should just do what they're doing, and when they finish them all, when they finish their description of the path, I'll just go, we should just hit them as soon as we can, as hard as we can, and destroy it. No taking any of this. We should be setting it free.
Yes. However, the problem we are having right now, and I agree in general with you, the problem we're having right now, however, is they can just, and you've seen that, they can just close the sun, and then there's nothing. Having that piece, as compromised as it is, at least gives us a way to keep these things around and be a bit more protected against them taking revenge on us. That's the whole idea. However, again, this isn't like, none of this is dogmatic. Yeah, like, no one here will then go and say, oh, you didn't follow our orders, and now you're like, no, this is like, if you in that situation feel that this is not the course of action that should be taken, then don't take that course of action. This is like what me and other people have like discussed previously. Obviously we should have included you in these talks. We haven't. I apologize for that. But that was the plan here. There's still the like overall problem of like a more long-term problem of how do we break their general control over this place, but we do not have the resources for that right now. Look around you, like there's like a handful of people here, and they have much more than that. And we have to like start somewhere to like break this part. And again, doing these things would be a start, but we'll have to see.
Is there? I think Frey to crop in as and ask Grizz is there a way to is there a way that the sun could still aid us and not be imprisoned? Would you be able to talk to it on our behalf?
Don't know. Never tried.
Ever tried talking to a sun before?
No.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's me out of any character. It's just like being, yeah, talk to a sun. That's yeah.
But
you don't have to
try.
Yeah, you don't have to talk to a sun. Also, it's like not really the sun. It's more like, it's not even a baby sun. Maybe it is like maybe it's like kind of like, I have no clue how you call this in English. Like, plants that make little plants out of themselves, and you can cut them off and like plant them. Maybe it's something like that. But it just doesn't grow. Because then the authority would never have a need to take other sons.
Right.
Immediately breaking the premise of our setting. No.
I mean, if if the sun grows slowly, unfortunately, I feel like the real life Earth offers examples of if you just have to wait a while to get something new, people would prefer to just seize something.
Yeah, I wonder if it would grow slowly into a new sun if you weren't hooking it up essentially as the reactor for one of these estates.
Probably.
Yep.
I think so. Like, and maybe that's also like a thing, and also like, I mean, we could just keep it here and let it be here and let it exist here. We don't have to, like, when I mean take it, I don't mean that we own it then. Maybe I should have said take it from them. That's probably the best way of putting it. And then we'll see. Also, now I'm thinking about sun pronouns. I'll have to figure that one out.
It's a sun. I just think like a sun is too big for human pronouns. I guess is my general take.
Sun.
I like Oscar's friend's plan. I'll talk to it.
Okay, cool. That still leaves the part of like having to deal with the escort and all that kind of stuff, and also like the other part of doing something with the estate. But we'll come back to that.
So,
Don't worry about the estate. I'll take care of that.
That's
oh, I thought, and I think like Frey sort of looks at, how are you planning on taking care of the estate?
Uh, all things decay. I'll just speed it up a little or a lot.
Well, I'm certainly, I think I would be happy to see this mess turn into residue. Um, be sure to be sure to warn me and my friends before you initiate the pace of decay. I was wondering. Obviously, I don't have a giant robot that could help take care of the guards of the sun, but it would. Uh, I might be able to gain access to the weapons uh, present in the estate, and with a sufficient distraction, turn them uh, on the enemy Asters. That might be where uh, that might be where I could serve the most use.
oh, I
What do you
like
feel, Grizz?
um
Big toothy smile at that. Um, I how would he say this? I think that sounds like a plan.
I think I think Captain Commander, and right now I'm cursing myself for picking that name, but what can you do? Captain
I
Commander,
love it. No notes.
Captain Commander, just like slaps their hand on their head. It's like, I didn't even think about. Yeah, you could take over their weapons. Oh, that would make things so much easier if you could do that. It's like sitting here, like, okay, how are you overcoming their defenses? Like, what if their escort is like too large and oh god, and this and that, and no, yeah. If there's anything we can do to help you with that, um, I don't know what we can do right now, but that would be great. Also, um, at some point we will launch an attack on the estate, um, and like, and it would be cool if at that point, I mean, if you're already at the weapons and all that, if you could uh, disable their defenses at that point, um, and that would be like a thing that would be just like cool for us in general. But yeah, no, oh, this is great, and like starts taking notes. Uh,
I love how just sort of sweaty and nervous Captain Commander.
this is my self insert, so
It's really good. Frey, I will do my best to I will do my utmost to see both defenses down and guns up. And I believe that Grizz has already given me all the tools I will need to help affect this outcome. And sort of cut to, I guess Frey looking down at like I guess Frey, looking down at like a mushroom in her hand. Um,
I actually wonder because you're doing this remotely, right? We haven't talked about exactly how that's working, but that's right. You're not on our estate, right?
no, 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 no. We are currently talking remotely, I think.
Yeah. Then yeah, I wonder if the means of that is like almost like a scrying bowl, like a wooden like shallow but broad bowl with some kind of murky water, and that it has these
Yes.
mushrooms that are specifically taken from the mycorrhiza growing around the edge of it, and it's that connection is what's giving you the ability to not just communicate verbally, but also see like the map that's being displayed, that sort of thing. And that's where the mushrooms are.
Oh yeah, yeah, absolutely. That rules. Oh, can Does it work if I put this in like any liquid?
No, I wouldn't know the answer to that, wouldn't I? Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Should it should work. Just make sure you're, grinding them up.
Cool. The mushroom connection scrying bowl. Oh, I love it. Awesome.
Okay. Cool. Are there things you want to figure out before, like, so? Also, like to give an overview. Armour Astir has something like an engagement role. That is mostly like it's not that much like in Blades in the Dark, where you have like a very elaborate process to figure out, okay, how many dice are you getting. It's more like, okay, you like roll like an appropriate attribute. However, in general, also like overall, like, is there like something else you want to figure out? Like, is there like any legwork you want to do? Any things you want to find out about, like what the procedures are, like what the securities is, blah 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 blah, that kind of stuff.
I think. Yeah, I think Oscar, or sorry, Oscar. I think Grizz. You can tell which character I fixated on. Yeah, I think Grizz will ask. How many gentlemen are they in the procession?
Yeah. How do you want to find this out? Like, are you scouting? Are you like doing other things? Like, what does this look like?
I guess I mean, I can try scouting for that, I suppose, or thinking of something more esoteric for that. I guess Grizz is starting by just asking Frey first, though, just to see if they know.
Okay, then Frey, what do you know about this? Like, so like, did you do something before that and all that kind of stuff? What I want one of you to roll something here for that, just to be clear. Just like trying to figure out, is this more dispel uncertainties or read the room? I like right now, I think it's more dispel uncertainties. It could also be like, a Grizz rolling dispel uncertainties and Frey helping. That could also be a thing here.
Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way to frame it as Frey being able to maneuver herself close enough, again with this some sort of focus, or not to use a loaded term, conduit, that Grizz could then like magically try and sense the gentleman through. I know we've talked about the gentleman being like having an actively deleterious effect on the environment, which feels like a thing that Grizz would feel viscerally. I think it's also worth saying, just to circle back a little bit to the cause. When we were talking about setting this up, we were framing this pretty explicitly as an eco-insurrectionist framing. Again, just for more making sure our audience is on the same page with what we were talking about for this. But anyway, yeah. Do you want to try and see Frey sneak something close to the procession?
That sounds like a good plan. Yeah, and I think to me that sounds like I'm helping and hindering you, and then you're gonna roll a magic thing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense to me. If that makes sense to you, Maka.
Yeah, sure. Like, that sounds perfectly fine.
Cool. All right. So I will. I think put the like the scrying. I think what I would do is I would put the scrying mushrooms. I would like try and sprinkle the scrying mushrooms into the gentleman's barracks. Um, under sort of under cover of doing some tidying up. I'm actually going to sort of like sprinkle some spores all over the place. Sprinkle some spores over the barracks. All right, first roll. So that's 2d6, and I think um, and because Mocha, will you give me +1 because this action is serving my hook of Apophis cannot be given a son.
Yeah, sure. Always. Yeah, that's an 11. So on help or hinder, on a 10 plus, they take advantage on their roll. So advantage is you roll 3d6 and take the highest 2. That's what you get. It's like when you roll with the hook, there's not something that happens out of that. So doesn't it? I don't see anything. Okay. Because like on certain things there are like certain like things that happen after that, but I don't think that that's the case. Anyway, so I think that's the spell uncertainties, right? Is anyone
Okay.
Are you okay with that? That sounds
Sure. I'll roll my one of my -2 stats. I put that there. I should have to do it. But I get advantage for it, so that should help.
I mean, you could make like what. The problem here is like, okay, is there like a way for you to do that with, like for example, I look at like earthly ally, you're a person-sized, you are person-sized in Pilot and Astir. As usual, though your Astir is likely a natural work grown through magical rituals and built using sustainable materials. When you weave magic to reach out to the forces of nature for assistance, do so with confidence. When you teach someone a truth about the natural world, advance the gravity clock, and so on. Could that be you weaving, like you using, or like you working with the mycorrhiza?
If you want to give me this as a weave magic rather than a dispel uncertainty, I'll take it. I'm not gonna argue against just for.
Yeah. What I think here is though that like on a failed roll here, I'm pretty sure the consequences would look much different. But
okay, fair.
Because like weaving magic is like in general, like in Armour says, like very big. So
yeah. It's the failure is much. This is much more actively doing a thing than passively sensing.
They will
a thing,
probably much like note much. It's probably much more noticeable should you fail. Okay. But in general, I think like I find like I like the idea of like basically you connecting through your like Astir in that way, or like have them make the connection.
Okay. In that case, I'm rolling with both advantage and with confidence. So I'm rolling 3d6 plus 3, taking the 2 best, and any 1s are 6s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huh.
So that's a 5 and a 4 plus 3 is 12.
Yeah.
Which also, and we can decide how on which end of this occurs. That was rolling a plus channel and getting a 12 plus, which means either by me or in this barracks, a bunch of new fauna, flora, probably particularly mushrooms, started growing. because I have a greener world when you roll plus channel and get a result of 12 plus new flora and fauna springs to life in the area, even in ruined places. Wildlife that had been forced out begins to return, and infertile ground is made fertile once again.
You see, this is why I like doing it this way, because you have nice weird chain reactions. This is great. I mean, you can let's shelve that part like for a moment, like where it grows and all that kind of stuff, and talk a little bit about. So you're basically what Frey was doing was like sprinkling spores in the barracks so that you can basically establish a connection there, right? So first of all, terminology. The max of the authority are the gentlemen. The pilots are the gentlemen drivers. That we are all on the same page. I watched too many car races where rich people were like buying themselves into cars, and they are referred to as gentlemen drivers, and this is how this whole mess started. It's like car races are awful, but also they sound nice. I'm like, we are all compromised, right? Anyway, so you're sprinkling out in the barracks, and like, what does this look like? Like, how are you getting this information? Is it like now we can talk about, okay, where is it growing? Because in that context, like for me personally, it feels like the growth has to happen over on the estate where the gentlemen are being prepared, right?
Yeah. So I think I wonder if it's almost like just Grizz's awareness is able to extend along like the lines of natural and healthy, and healthy in the sense of not this very artificially manicured gardeny thing, not like, I mean, Grizz is obviously more associated with things like decay than with as much as anything. So not like against that and healthy, but yeah, there's this natural growth, and maybe that's where we get what the growth is stuff spreading out almost like a network for them to be able to sense sense the gentleman as sort of like almost voids in that network. Does that make sense?
Yeah. What I kind of like in terms of like picturing this is because, again, this is like shitty English country estate. So there's probably like a bunch of like potted plants and like hedges and all that kind of stuff there. And what I kind of like is like, because this, I assume like most of the network that's forming is the typical like fungus thing of like most of what's happening is underground and you can't see it. But you know, like maybe if a gardener there is very, very attentive, they can see, oh, like there's like, is this a mushroom growing out of this plant, like out of this pot? Like just like very, very subtle. There are like signs of like, or like some of the plants there, like getting some like weird spots that indicate that they are sick in some way. Like, you know, like in a very subtle way that it's not very like immediately apparent. This is like what I've been picturing. Like, feel free to correct me if like that's not what you like.
That sounds cool to me.
Yeah. So what you're getting is that right now, so there are several things that are being prepared here, and I think I'll just like give you most of that. So the gentlemen are very bland-looking mechs. Usually in the dossier, there's an image reference that I posted. It's like something I think I used in a previous Armour Astir game, like that I run on the server a few months ago. It's also something that I used as a visual reference for one of my video games. It's a I think it's in London. I have no clue. It's just something someone else showed me on a different server. There's a store, or was a store, whatever, called Cyberdog. And it has these very goofy looking statues in front of it. You can see it in the dossier if you scroll a bit further down. I'll post another link in the chat for people to if people want to take a look at that. And I'm especially like taking the right statue kind of as like a baseline, and that's basically how they look like. What, however, what defines a gentleman when they're like out on a mission is obviously the outfit that they are wearing. They're currently there are 3 different outfits that they can wear. One is the formal outfit. The other one is like a hunting outfit, and the next one is the quote unquote expedition outfit. Right now there's like the large estate, 2 gentlemen are being prepared. One with the formal outfit, which is a top hat, a black suit, jacket and pants, a bright red shirt with a neon yellow tie. The formal gentlemen usually wear a sword cane and a dueling pistol, which, by the way, most like, if like folks who are watching and listening want to picture something, guns and rifles and all that kind of stuff are very much like 19th or like 18th century guns and cannons and all that kind of stuff, and not modern looking. So if you think about a dueling pistol, it's more like a flintlock pistol in that regard. And one like further gentleman is being prepared in the hunting outfit, which is an olive green jacket with matching trousers over a dark tweed vest and a flat cap. And they are carrying a blunderbuss and have ammunition that might slow you down. And like what you can tell is that the new estate, because they were like previously, and I think maybe this is like something not really that, it's not really that, I have no idea how you would describe this, if like something that was missing there, maybe there are residuals of something there still, where you can see, okay, that's very similar to that in a degree, and that there are like 4 more gentlemen who were previously there who have since appeared to have been moved. And yeah, one of them is definitely also wearing a formal outfit. But yeah, that's that part. So what you can gather right now is that the procession will have 2 gentlemen, one wearing a formal outfit, and you can, I mean, this is like fairly obvious, like who is going to wear the formal outfit and who's going to wear the hunting outfit. The formal outfit will be worn by the head of the estate. The hunting outfit will be worn by their bodyguard, or his bodyguard.
And then there's these 4 others that are like somewhere in reserve, but or that I know are present somewhere, but not necessarily a direct part of the procession.
Yeah, they are not there anymore. And like again, there's a new estate. It's like the son of the estate owner. Well, probably they're over there. That's right. what you can gather there. So that's that part.
And I think the thing that I want to do, I'll relay that information obviously to the folks on the folks in the cause base, but then also to Frey. I'll say there's 2 in the procession and 4 more elsewhere. If you're turning the guns on them, even if you can't take them down, keep them together. If they're grouped together, I should be able, between the 2 of us, we should be able to bring them down. I think that's the only like gathering information or anything like that I want to do.
Okay. Frey, is there something that you want to do before we do that, and then we'll take a break? Adam, you are muted. In case you have been.
So, I'm so sorry. I thought I was not muted.
It's fine.
Yes. So I am. So yeah. So just to repeat what I said. Frey is absolutely down with what Grizz suggested about keeping them together. I also wanted to. So yes. I think the thing I most want to know is my employer. Is my employer heading? I think what I most yes. I think what I most want to know is, are the pilots of those gentlemen, of the four gentlemen in reserve, already in the Asters, or are they sort of present, or are they sort of like, I guess, like present outside of their Asters initially?
Um, so the I think I can just give you that because you're the attendant of one of these people. If you're
Right.
like once you heard okay foreign like reserve and something, and then maybe you remember something of like that that Apophis said something like, oh yeah, like his like old mates from school are coming over, and they should like that the people should like prepare like his gentlemen and like those three others that are not being used, like get them over to the new estate, so that like he and his mates can, you know, do like awful people stuff that people do with those things, whatever, you know,
Okay.
do like a nature something. So basically, they are at the estate. The pilots are like your basically your current employer and his three shitty friends.
And they are currently in the Asters, or they're
No,
currently in the
like
estate about to go out, like after the ceremony?
so
Or
the idea is in general that, and again I can give you that because that's like you know that because you know how you know about procedures. The head of the estate of the old estate carries that ball of sun to the new estate, where it is then received in a like by the new estate owner in their gentleman.
okay.
So like this is
Right.
basically they meet each other up like fairly close to the new estate, in their robots, and like exchange this thing, and then it's going to be placed underneath the new estate, and then they'll leave. That's basically the idea. And
Right. Okay.
so yeah.
So they're not in their Asters
Like,
yet.
yeah,
They
like
will be.
they will be at some point, like if it's like either if it's clear okay there's a problem, or hey look there's the sun piece coming, better get out into our robots and receive and like meet up with my papa,
Mhm.
in that in that moment, then like they'll be out. But before that, they will just, you know, it's like there's a party going on. They will be doing party
Cool.
things there.
All right. In which case, I think the thing I would like to prep is so I have I have two so I get two like crew carrier bonuses. I'm not entirely sure if they're called those in the playbook. I think in the playbook they're called retinue staff. So I've got two retinue staff, and I picked watchdogs, which is Oscar, and maids. Um, and I think what I'd like to do is
What does
get my
mates do?
is have my maids kind of like
Like
prepare the what maids do. Maids do. Um, I would like, but I would just like. Uh, I would sort of
you're becoming a
like
robot.
uh,
A bit.
oh
So
no. Um, uh, I would like to roll to see if my maids could uh roll if I could roll using my maids to make sure that the party is progressing in an orderly fashion, while I sort of kind of do my own thing.
Okay, so what I think that might be, like, you don't have really a move that involves them. It's more like one of these, like, when you like have a support character in Armour, you get basically room on a carrier, and that gives you a bonus. This is basically something like that, right?
Yeah, I think this could be. I feel like maybe I'd like to. It could be weather the storm.
Yeah, like what I'm proposing here is that this might be a lead the sortie role.
Oh.
Because this would kind of indicate, okay, because this is, you are basically setting up what the starting point is of like everything in that regard, right? We could, like, this is how I like it sounds a little bit like, okay, here's the plan. On your end, you're going to set everything up in such a way that basically everything is just working without your employer just like basically having like demanding you to do stuff for him every time or like all the time, so that you have some time for yourself, and also like have it run in such a way that it takes a while for them maybe to take notice that something might not be as it should be, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And that kind of sounds to me like overall preparing like a kind of plan for something. Like, okay, this is how things are working, and this like sounds to me like it leads towards leading a sortie, or like leading towards the role, or like having something that prepares for like the lead the sortie role. But I think we are like at that point, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So for lead the sortie, like I just read the reference in the reference sheet that I have is which I'm also going to credit like after the break, after I looked up the name. When it's time for action and you lead a sortie, decide who planned the mission and roll plus no if you're leading with wits or following a clever plan plus crew if it was someone else aboard, or like in that regard, it was like if you're basically like doing something that involves more people. Plus defy if you're heading into danger blind. On a 10 plus, you make it to the action unscathed. On a 7 to 9, the crew stumbles, misses something important, or is unprepared for what they meet. On a failure, well, we'll have to see about that. So this might be plus crew, and I think the base thing for plus crew is +1. However, I think because it's like basically your team, I was like thinking of something that sounds less militaristic than squad, because you don't have a squad of mates.
My retinue,
yeah,
my staff.
You might like, let's just say it's a +2 here in that context. For me, that sounds great. So, and we'll find a way to figure out what that means for like the part of like of Grizz and like their part in attacking the other part. But yeah, let's just roll and then see where everything goes.
All right. Okay. 2d6 +2.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Oof.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's a good point. Because let's leave it here. You give
right.
You give the instructions. This is probably also like one of these. Was it Ocean's 11 that did this, where they basically did a montage? Okay, this is how the plan is meant to go, and like and this is like how it's going, and then you do that, and like when he's like fainting, do that, and like always have a like hot towel prepared or whatever. Like it's all like meticulously laid out, and then it's go time. Everything is about to start, and this is where we're taking a break because I need to think about like how to set this up and what this means. And also because I think taking breaks is cool, and we should all take breaks and have like a 10-minute respite while I'll run to the bathroom. After that, try to figure out how to get the donation tracker to appear on the stream layout. So I'll guess see you at around like 10 minutes, so like 30 flat. Does this sound great to everyone?
Sounds great.
Okay, so let me switch over to the break screen, which I probably also have to adjust in a second. But anyway, see you soon, everyone, and we'll go from there. hello. We should be back. I hope we are back. This is
I'm good to go.
once again.
Got some snacks.
That's fine. We should be live already, but also for some reason, I think I know the reason. Yes, I know the reason. Our Roll20 background wasn't displaying on the stream. Also, apologies, I haven't found the way to do the tracker because it turns out I totally forgot how everything works between last year's and this year's and like all the years before. But it's okay. We will get there. I will read it out to you. Right now we are at $3,170 raised for Trans Lifeline. And also because I did not keep track of it. The last two donations were like $20 from Anonymous, who says for the librarian or everything else, and $28 from Kai, who said round number with a emoji that I can't read because my second monitor is dying and is not very bright anymore. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome back to the Roblox Bond charity live stream. We are raising money for Trans Lifeline, and you should very much donate for it. And something I wanted to say, and I had planned, like something I prepared myself yesterday. What I wanted to say is like, especially like, do what you can. Obviously, don't overstretch yourself if you like don't have the means. However, if you like, should a landlord listen to this, maybe do something useful in your life for once and donate your money for something good, and then work towards like making yourself obsolete. That would be cool because landlords are not needed. That's just like a thing. Anyway, we rolled a 4 the last time we were here. We were preparing ourselves to for like a weird rich people party where like a piece of the sun was being transferred, and we left off with Frey. At some point I will get the names right. With Frey instructing her retinue of maids to do a good job. And let's be perfectly clear, you did a good job. Like that part works incredibly well. And however, and there will be like several things that I will be throwing around in a second. However, one thing you did not account for, and maybe you should have accounted for, but like who can predict everything, right? So the party is starting. Apophis and his 3 friends who are like just the worst people, who are named, I have to like, you know them, at least you heard of them. One is Party Zane, the other one is Hell Be Erd, and the next one is Ski as Arm. These are all like named after pole arms, obviously. And they all look like annoying, different annoying, like C-tier Gundam rivals from different Gundam shows. Yeah, we might have to like talk about that more in detail. But anyway, these are like kind of like shitty people, and like they are having a good time. Your employer has a good time. Like, what are you doing then? Are you like sneaking off to what I assume is like you have to enter the like the quote unquote like bridge area to like find some way to access the weapons, right? That's what I think you have to do.
Yeah. So I think Frey has sort of has done the whole sort of thing of like handing around drinks and making sure that the snacks table is fully stocked and all that sort of thing. And then has sort of taken a bow as like, well, if you won't be needing me anymore, sir, I will. I have some things to attend to down in the kitchens. Please ring if you I am just a ring away if you need any more. And has sort of turned to go, assuming that there would be nothing else needed.
Yeah, and then like you make your way through the. I think you go through the kitchen and it's like incredibly bustling, and there's like tons of like pots like being like used to prepare various foods, and like, there's a lot of shouting because in big kitchens, there's always shouting going on. And also it's like very stressful. And you make your way through the kitchen. I'm pretty sure like this is one of these houses where basically the servants have like a completely different part of the house, like a completely different stairwell that looks like very like bare bones. It's just like naked stone, like barely any light, and like the doors that you use to enter the like actual like parts where like the rest of the estate lives basically are like completely hidden from like within that part, and you're making your way there, and like as you're like about to open the door to like the bridge area, which I think is actually further down. It's basically at the part that is that sits right on top of the like where the sun prison would start. Usually, that's where I think it would be. As you like make your way down there, you suddenly hear like, like, Freya, did not expect to see you here. You like here around. Like what? Like something the matter? And like, what do you like? You hear the voice of someone you kind of know and you wish you wouldn't know, and it's Glam Pearson. He is the personal attendant of the second head of the estate, which is like someone named Ivory Stress Coyle. And Glam Person himself uses he him pronouns, is bald, wears like a suit that is frankly too big. Like it fits him, it's just big, you know, like he basically is like very wide shoulders. Has very attentive eyes. His attribute, by the way, is nosy. So that's what's happening here is like, and I think he just like he thinks something's up and he's just like following you, and I think you take the risk shadowed, because someone is just like paying close attention to what you're doing. Obviously you are allowed to be where you're allowed to be because you're the head attendant basically of this estate, but he, like for him it's like mostly like, I just want to see what's going on here. That's his deal. And he's obviously making your life miserable. Now, on the other end, deep in space, where there are like planets drifting around. I think like I said it like in the I think I said it here also, like the asteroids are like very well trimmed, and I think some asteroids like they are all covered in like some kind of plant matter, and I think it's not like that they are trimming hedges to like have various shapes. They are trimming the whole asteroids. So like there's an asteroid that just looks like a dog, and all that kind of stuff.
Asteroid Jerry?
Yeah.
Asteroid? Okay.
Yeah, something like that. So,
Great.
Okay. I have to scroll through like my ancient token list because like a very long time ago I had to do stuff that required something like clocks. So I hope this shows up. Roll 20, please. Thank you very much. So this is supposed to be a 6-step clock. And this is the clock that indicates how far along the procession they are. And what I think here is, and obviously that has like, again, like something has happened in this whole process that where like in some way the plans have changed. That's like what your like impression is here, Grizz, is basically you figured out, okay, they're going to go down this route and this is going to happen, and like basically you found a nice place to ambush them. And at some point you realize they're not where they're supposed to be, and like the checkpoints along the way, you see checkpoints light up where you thought basically that they are much further along the route than you thought they would be. So what's also happening, and this is like the a clock here. Basically, I love my awful system. I'm going to take they are going to arrive at this space, and I'm going to make the clock much larger so that my markers can fit on them without being weird. I'm going to tick this 3 times because they're already halfway there. When this is full,
Okay.
they have arrived at the estate. You know what? Let's do 2. Let's not be rude. Or I don't have to be much ruder. So okay, and let's just still use this field here because this is more like, again, an abstract representation of everything. And we are going to plop down. Okay, and you see, oh my, roll 20. I hate you. What are you doing? What is my mouse doing? I love it. Just marking everything. Yeah, okay. And one of those. Does it work? Okay, something. Yeah, okay. We can work with that. I should probably have also had like a token for you. So you see 2 gentlemen approaching. These are these 2 clowns here. The one with the top hat is the formal wear gentleman. The one with the flat cap is the hunting wear gentleman. I don't know. Okay. You are going to be an A. For Gris Egerich or Egerick.
Got it.
I can probably make this something. I never use tokens for Roll20, which I probably also should have prepared, but who has the time for that? Anyway, this is the thing, how it's going. Where do you want to start? Do we want to like linger on this space, or do we want to like take a look first at the noisy butler and Frey? Nosy butler. He may be also be noisy.
I'm up for seeing what happens with Frey here. I feel like once I feel like and Adam, if you feel differently, let me know. But I feel like Frey has multiple different modes of operating in, but once like Grit and the cause shows up, that's going to narrow your options.
I do like I would like to read the room, but I'm also like, I think Grizz should be on screen as quickly as possible. So yeah, I would definitely take the camera for like a read the room, and then I almost think it would be great for like Grizz to appear almost immediately afterwards. If that sounds cool.
Yeah, sure.
Works for me.
Sweet. All right. So I would like to gain basic. So what immediately comes to Frey's mind is well, I am definitely not where I am supposed to be, but I don't think Glam is where he is supposed to be either. So I would like to read the room to get a sense of like why Glam is in and around the bridge as well. So that's roll plus sense. I think also worth noting is that I also have the move Smiling Politely, which is at a glance you can tell if someone is hiding something. So just in case that offers gets me anything extra in addition to this. So it's 2d6 plus sense, which is 2. All right.
Cool.
Okay, an 11. So
on a 10 plus hold 3, spend it 1 for 1 to ask the following questions. Your hold lasts until you leave the current situation or it changes significantly. I think I would ask. I think my first question is like, why is Glam here? And I think that could be sort of what is being overlooked or obscured here.
Oh God. I don't think like for me the thing is like I don't think that Glam is like
Mhm.
uh that complicated of a person. He's just like he's the kind of butler that's like just there for he's the one that once everything is said and done and like the staff is having their own like little bit of free time or whatever, he's the one that does the most and the most like awful amount of gossip and the kind of gossip. That's what I mean. Like he's just nosy. He just like when he has like feels that there's something that could be like make a good story that he could tell to like feel a little bit better like about everything and all that kind of stuff. Like he's just like going for it. And so like your impression is mostly like okay, he's just here because he thinks he can get something out of this. That he can then tell there's no like oh I like he like he's not there to spy or like he's there to spy in the sense of like how anyone who like is just like frustratingly curious is about to spy. So there's not really something overlooked here in that regard. I don't think so.
Cool. What is so yeah, so what that tells me is that like Glam's boss is not like I assume we're still in the servant corridor, so if I open the door to the bridge, it's not like I'm gonna sort of walk in on Glam's boss or anything
No,
like that.
no. I
Cool.
think she's like down at the party being like very frustrated at like the company that her son keeps, but yeah.
Awesome. Um I I think uh I would ask yeah, who has the upper hand here? You mentioned that Glam is quite big. Are they like physically quite
No,
imposing?
no,
Is he like
his
physically?
suit is big. Um,
His suit is. You mentioned him quite being quite broad-shouldered, so I was
yeah,
wondering if that
yeah,
was him
no,
or if.
that's his suit. Like
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's like his build is normal. Like in terms of like upper hand, yeah, like Glam always thinks that he has the upper hand in everything. And right now he definitely thinks that he has the upper hand because he's pretty sure that you're up to something uh, in that regard, and that's like something. I caught someone important doing something,
Mhm.
and now I can like rub it in their nose or whatever.
Brilliant. All right. Um. Okay. I think that's all. I think those are my immediate questions.
Yeah,
Um.
yeah. We can
I
keep
know
that
enough to
rolling.
act on that.
Yeah, yeah. Cool. So over to the robot parts of the thing. Right now, right now you are still Grizz. You're still. They still haven't caught you, and I think what you can see is that basically, I I think I had like a rough idea how like this might look like how the piece of the sun kind of like I think it's like a similar setup like the estates like estate enclosure looks like, which I mean is like kind of like a big UFO catcher, like with like arms that spread around it and like keep it in check in some way. And I think it looks like that, but obviously smaller. In terms of size, yes, I've been thinking about this. I don't know, like Dragon Ball Z Spirit Bomb sized, like big, but like not as big as like a sun, obviously, or like a planet or something. But still, if like being held in the hands of like a mech who's like I don't know 12 to 20 meters tall, like still fairly large. And yeah, they're basically holding it out like a kind of like a torch, like over their head, and like very rushed. And I think you can kind of like gather here, like one part where you can see, and now realize how nicely this like fits in with the head of the estate, which by the way is named Niall Coyle. His attributes are impatient and demanding. So you can kind of see he just wants to get it over with. And so he instructed his bodyguard, yeah, no, let's take a shortcut. I don't want to do this whole thing. Let's just get it done. Yeah. So this like they have like, and this is maybe why they haven't noticed you quite yet. And why you can get like you basically have have an action here. And one thing I also want to say here, I set this out before for his bodyguard to like basically take a ton of dangers, because I assumed like you were like not only one person. But I'm going to like reduce this to like say, okay, for this here, like both of these are defenseless after taking one danger. So, and if you have like, and let's just say it this way, if you strike them from your position where you are right now, basically you could strike decisively right now, but probably not like maybe with a disadvantage if you do it. So like if they're no, you can just strike decisively. You can strike one of them decisively if you want. Let's just do it that way.
So have we like launched from our carrier yet, or is this like the carrier is drifting in, which again I think it would make sense for them to not notice, because they're probably used to detecting things that have much hotter and bigger power sources than us.
Let's just go with this, and maybe at some point like his bodyguard realized, wasn't it like this castle here must have gotten loose. I don't know. Don't want to care about that. But yeah, like let's just go with that. I haven't thought about like that far, but I think that's cool. So
yeah, I think Grizz has gotten into the mycorrhiza at this point, which I mean is literally just like crawling into a big mass of mushrooms and other fungus inside of it, and it's the very pop science-y, mycelium cells, spread out just like nerve cells do or something like that, which doesn't actually quite work that way, but in Armour Astir it can. And so I think it's just Grizz in there, and it's almost a direct connection with controlling it like that. And I think basically wants to, because we don't have a ton in the way of other Astirs.
Nope.
I'm thinking. So I probably want to, but we know we have good like infantry essentially if they're not getting overwhelmed quickly, because so I think Grizz's first job isn't even thinking about necessarily striking here, but as my entrance needs to capture all the attention. So I kind of want to just come hurling down and make a big landing in the path at some distance, but in the path of the procession. Does that make sense?
Sure. Like so still you just want to like stand in front of them then?
I mean, if I can do that and start attacking them, great. But I think my priority is drawing in this initial action is drawing attention rather than doing damage, because I want the other forces of the cause to be able to get in without being immediately under fire.
Okay. I just want to like I don't like you can do that. I just want to like repeat. You would have a chance to just like take one of them out immediately if you want that. That's what I wanted to set up.
Could I do that while I'm dropping? Then I do have a weapon with sniper range.
Yeah, like we can narrate that through. That's no problem, and like do that if you want to do that as your entrance, and then basically it's end up with you standing in front of them. Sure, I just want to like make clear that you have that option. You don't have to take it. Absolutely, you don't have to. I just want to make sure that like you don't like something isn't like missed here.
No,
'cause
no, no.
that would be sad.
Yeah, if I can do both, I'll do both. I just wanted to
Yeah.
yeah. And then the two
I don't want them to win, so please.
Yeah. Remind me which two I have to choose from here as a or are they close enough together or are they spread out? Because my familiars have the area 10.
Yeah. So what I think is that the like the head of the estate, like this one here, is definitely a bit in front, and like the bodyguard is a bit in the back. So I don't think like in terms of like area, I wouldn't say that you could take out both of them. Like for that, I don't think that would work. But you could like again, yeah.
Okay. Then I think I'll target. Then yeah, the mycorrhiza drops down, lands again at a bit of a distance here, but still trying to be very obvious. And then yeah, I will unleash my whatever I call these my consuming spores, which are my version of a moat familiar. So this is like all of the various mushrooms and other fungus visible on the mycorrhiza. Releases this cloud of proportional to them, so smaller but still large spores that start rushing toward that first mech or the first gentleman, and with the goal being to start consuming and decaying it. And I think because if I can take out one of the two, the head of this one household in one go, I will do it. I want to use my mycelial interface, which is my familiar sync rituals, to give me advantage on this roll.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then I'm rolling, and since it's familiars, I'm rolling plus channel. So this is 3d6 plus 3, taking the two highest.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I forgot the most important thing. While dropping down through our communication, Grizz says, "Oscar, tell your friend we're about to arrive."
Also, do you have a launch phrase, right?
Oh yeah, that's true.
No, that's his launch phrase. That's her launch phrase. Sorry.
Yeah, that's true. Grizz's launch phrase is "We're ready, let's go," referring to both themselves and the mycorrhiza. So that was sort of the signal for everyone to start dropping, but then the communication to Frey to let her know that we're coming too. So 3d6 plus 3, 2 5s and a 3 is 13.
Okay, yeah. Well, on a 10 plus, you strike true. Director characters are killed, forced to retreat, or otherwise removed as a threat, as per the fiction. Player characters should bite the dust. Well, that didn't happen. Yeah. What does this look like? Like in broad terms.
I think it looks like almost like a time lapse thing of like fungus consuming something, because this is also this is a channel roll that got a 12 plus, so the a greener world triggers here as well. I think this gentleman just like crumples in on itself as these beautiful multicolored fungus particularly, but I think lots of different plant life just rapidly springs out of it, and spreads out sort of around, and as it crumples in, it almost releases up and out like a cloud and spreads out this like very polychromatic ring of new plant life.
There's like something that I just like remembered. I don't have a reference for that. Like a few years ago, on a walk of my it was like May or something. I was like walking past like a bunch of trees. No clues what species, but like they were all like dropping like pollen or something like that. Like big like fluffy parts of plant matter. Like almost like basically it looked like it was snowing, but it was June. Kind of like that, and the whole ground was covered by them. Like something like that, right?
Yeah.
So, I think again, like in the like interest of like also like the wider imagining this of like being, I don't know, the pilot of a series or something like that. Obviously, there's an escape pod that at the last moment that we can only barely see. Oh, like when you like rewind 5 times. Oh, this is why the dude showed up in the next episode. Yeah, you have completely ruined this gentleman. And also this was the one that was carrying the sun. So that thing is just like now drifting in space. And
cool.
I should remove that one. However, the second gentleman is pulling out their blunderbuss and is charging towards you. However, we can let's cut back from this to like the other kind of action that is happening, and this is like the action that happens like in the mind or something like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. Anyway, Frey, glam person is like very, very still incredibly curious. Maybe just say like, well, shall we, and like gestures towards the like bridge door.
Okay, all right. So, can I do a sort of a quick little flashbacky type thing?
Yeah. I mean, it depends in the end, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I would like to make because I think we've already discussed this, but I just want to make I want to propose it being true in the fiction is so I have a move called a drink, sir, which if you can gain access to a kitchen, you can slip anything you want into anyone's meal or drink without being caught. No rolls required. I would just like to. Is it all right if we sort of establish in fiction that I have already sort of spiced the food coming out of the kitchen with some virulent mushroom spores produced and given to me by Grizz?
Yeah, sure. I mean that could have been part of like the whole setup thing, right? Yeah. What were these spores meant to do again?
I think. Well, so I think Frey would have asked Grizz for like I don't know something that would knock people out, or actually, you know what? No, something that would like incapacitate people in some way. And I think Frey would have asked for non-lethal but severely incapacitating. And Grizz is free to sort of suggest free to say what that means.
Yeah, I think it's not quite just like knocking people out, but maybe like almost like a like extreme case of numbing all over, so almost like your arm falls asleep, but suddenly you're having that happen to all of your limbs at once, type of a thing. Does that sound good?
Oh yeah, um yeah, that sounds great because that also like that also implies like what happens when your leg does go numb and then you're like, oh God, I'm gonna get I don't know what it's called, but like when your nerves when feeling comes back to your leg after it's gone numb, like because you've been
Yeah.
sitting on it wrong or whatever. Yeah, that's gonna happen to everyone across your whole body.
Cool.
Awesome. Uh, no, okay. So that's so cool. So that's happened. Um, I want to. I think I get the signal from Grizz. I think okay. Frey's like there's no time. There is no knows there is no time. Um, I would like to just straight up. I'm like I'm a big woman. Um, uh, I'm just gonna straight up body slam Glam, but I'm gonna have Oscar tabletop Glam. So Oscar goes so I'm gonna body slam Glam, and Glam is gonna trip, and if it works, Glam will trip over Oscar, fall over, and then I will have Oscar sort of sit on Glam to keep him incapacitated while I go do my job.
Okay. Again, like Glam is an extra, so he takes one danger before becoming defenseless. But anyway, you can. Also, like maybe I never explained this part of the rules and stuff like that. Also, like for people who are watching, so combat in Armour Astir like works like this: that players and like GM characters are applying dangers to each other. Dangers are come in different kinds, risks and perils. Risks are like more temporary things, and perils are like things that require attention and like time to get rid of. And different characters are like different, like basically the more central or the quote unquote important a character is to a story, the more risk they take before becoming defenseless, and you can only take them out once they are defenseless. So that's how it works. Risks can have like, or dangers can have like an incredibly broad thing. They can be like body like injuries to like bodily inflicting bodily harm, but you can also like defeat them via talking to them. That's the other part of it. Again, this isn't like me implying, oh, you should talk to him. Like, who cares? But just in general, like always considering what options you can do and you want to take. But you want to shove him or like throw him over, which is good. So roll like that sounds that you want to exchange blows with clash. So
Yes.
roll plus clash.
Okay, 2d6 plus 1.
Oh,
God darn it.
that's
What?
Oh no.
oh,
Oh dear. I think can I propose something?
please.
I think I trip over Oscar. I think Oscar misunderstands and gets in front of my legs.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. God, I was thinking is like basically it's the door opening while you're body slamming him, or like trying to body slam him, because this is. How could I escalate this further? Let me see who is around here. We do have the captain of this, of like the potential captain of this. What's his name again? Oh no! I think I know what's happening here. Oh no! That's much more funny because I just realized that that the captain of the new estate is Glam Person's sister, and Oh God, I did not plan for this. I have to. So you want to body slam a glam person? Like you do like there's like some tussling. Did you say anything before that?
No.
Okay, so you just grab him. Okay.
I like shoulder charge. So like I'm not grabbing. I'm basically throwing my body at the
Okay,
person.
okay. It's, like because I was picturing you doing like a wrestling power slam or something like that. Okay, so as you like, are you charging him into the door or like is it? I think this is what happens. Like you charge him, and like he kind of like plants his feet in such a way that he pivots around, or there's like some like there's tussling happening. And you end up like basically breaking through the door and into the bridge area, and like both of you land on the ground. You can, I don't know, you will take some risk. I think you have to decide, right? The person taking the risk, yeah. So and like, and then you like look up and it's like. Someone looks down on you like wearing like a very very clean, like almost pristine purple and red uniform. No, a red and I don't know, they have purple hair. They have purple hair and also wear a purple uniform. And like also pronouns are she her. This is Slam Person, the captain of the new estate. Glam Person's sister, younger sister. And she looks down at you like, you don't have to trip over yourself just to bring me tea. So what risk do you want to take?
Can I take the risk inappropriate behavior?
Oh, please. Yeah, that sounds great.
Cool. 2 risks.
Love to be like, love to be made defenseless by social awkwardness. This is awesome. Oh God.
I'm like fully on the floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not where I should be.
So, what is your dog doing with this?
Oscar thinks we're playing, and Oscar's like doing that big happy dog thing where it's just kind of like he's kind of like just gambling around, just going whoa, whoa.
Okay. Is it because I was also thinking, is he doing like the Samuel thing of like tilting his head?
Actually, no, that's way more funny. Dog reaction GIF is way better.
This is good. Yeah. So, boy, we need to get you some help. Because having 2 risks at being in that situation, oh God. We'll have to think about that. In the meantime, Grizz, there's a gentleman with a blunderbuss, like coming at you. What do you do?
So I think, like trying to close distance on me.
Yeah, because well, it's a blunderbuss. There's no range on this thing.
So I think I will bring up. So I have a mason shield. In this case, it's the petrified cap for the shield and stipe or stem of a giant mushroom for the mace. And I'm gonna just put the shield in front of me and charge as well, with the idea of just being, block this shot that they're going to take, get in and try to try to get within a distance where their blunderbuss is not something that where their blunderbuss is not going to be as effective.
Yeah. Okay, that sounds like a weather the storm. When you weather the storm to do something safely under pressure, roll plus defy to dodge, tough it out, or strong arm your way through. Plus no to make it through with quick thinking, or the ace up your sleeve. Send with sense to notice quiet cues, signs of danger, or bad vibes. I think that's plus defy, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So that is I have +3 in defy, so I'm going to just 2d6 +3 here.
Yeah.
4 and a 6 +3 is 13.
I love the contrast in rolls here. This is good. Okay, on a 10 plus, you managed to make it to safety. So basically, you're now like very close in and like you're tussling with them, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sort of I think like taking the like maybe even they get a shot off, but the projectiles just are hit the shield's at an angle, they just glance off, and then like bring the shield in sort of the across the body, knocking not knocking the blunderbuss out of their hand, but like away and out, so it's not pointed anywhere useful.
Yeah, I think again this moment when mechs touch each other, they you can hear them. I think you hear like the other pilot, which is Jaquette Evil. She, her pronouns.
Okay.
Her like attributes are honorable in quotes, obedience and decisive. I think she just says something like, "I didn't expect anything less from you cowards, honestly." But yeah. Okay, so now you're tussling.
Yeah.
And I think she basically tries to like hit you, like tries to maneuver herself in such a way that like to push you away, that she has like enough space to get off a shot. So what do you do?
I think she extends the arm as to make that shove, and I'm trying to bring my mace, the petrified mushroom stem, down on the on her gentleman's arm, and just snap it right off. And I think because yeah, we're in contact and able to talk. I think it's just he called us cowards, right? I'm
Yeah.
sorry, already.
Yeah.
I was like, nature's wrath doesn't know fear, but you will, and then slam down the mace on her arm.
Yeah. Again, this could be plus like clash for exchange blows, but also like in a weird sense you could also like make an argument to use talk, but you don't have to.
I'll go for at least one talk here, and let's see how this goes. I think that would be an interesting way for that's not usually Grizz's MO, but I don't know how often I'm gonna be in close enough in to be able to do talking to the other person, and I could see, the clash would be more of me of damaging the mech, but if I can actually talk and demoralize, then that might overall be more effective because they still have their gun even if I take off this arm that's shoving.
What is Grizz's approach? Like you as a person?
My approach both on foot and in my mech is element.
Okay, then you roll with confidence, because her approach is mundane. And
Okay.
for the again, like just for people who don't know don't know the game, Astir's like Astir has like the concept of approaches, so different, like there are different basically in combat situations, or they kind of have different kinds of like ways how like you can fight and can like do conflict. There are 5 different kinds of approaches, mundane, arcane, divine, profane, and elemental. And they basically like form like a weakness ring. Mundane is strong against arcane and so on. Elemental, which you have, is strong against mundane, which means any attack against someone you're strong against is being rolled with confidence. For example, if you had attacked or were attacked someone who's profane, you would have to roll in desperation, which, by the way, I forgot to do because the formal wear gentleman is profane. I think. But yeah, that's just... no, the formal wear is divine. The expedition one is profane. But yeah, so that's okay. So you roll with confidence, which means you treat ones as 6s.
Right. And cool. So I'm rolling 2d6 minus 2, but 1s are 6s.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of the Snake Eyes roll, given that I'm rolling with confidence there. So that's 2 2s minus 2 is a 2.
God, if those were 2 1s. Wow. I've also been like just realizing that maybe we could also like right now still do like just to keep in mind Frey, because you are a support class. There's like the whole section of B plot moves. You have 3, and I think this still counts because both of you are not in the same basically fictional space. So you have 3 hold that you can spend to do things, right? So yeah, this is like stuff that you can do, but
okay,
not right now, because that like there's nothing that you can do to help your friend here. Okay, so on a miss, well, I think you need to. I think, I wrote down for myself. Try to give more risks than perils, because risks are easier to be cleared. At the same time, you roll a 2.
Yeah, no, fair.
So I think you're going to have to take a peril. And since this was like more talking while you were like struggling around, this is also like a debate peril that you're going to take. You said something along the line of, well, like nature doesn't like the wrath of nature doesn't know fear, but you will.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I will say, just in case this affects how you want to frame this peril. So I failed a roll with confidence, which means I need to loosen one of my hooks.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Which would presumably be the hook. I am the instrument of nature's wrath.
Yeah. I think what's interesting here is because Jaquette sees herself as the instrument of her lord. That's right. Like that's her thing. The motive is to protect my lord, and her method is I am expendable. So I think this is like, she says something, I can't you can only fear something when you have something to lose, like something in that regard, and she's not afraid to basically sacrifice herself for this. And like what might be the case here is like something like maybe being confronted with someone who's bought into this so much, like realizing, wait a second, these people believe in that as much or as deeply as I do. I believe in my stuff.
Particularly when we've already seen Grizz like not being 100% convinced of the commitment of all of the people in the cause on the same level as they are. Seeing that level of commitment on the other side, I could see being very worrisome.
I think maybe like peril might be like something like self-doubt or something like that. It's like,
yeah. What about shaken conviction?
Yeah, that's better. That sounds better.
Okay, I've got that down as a peril.
That awful moment when you realize that awful people actually believe in the awful things and are not just misguided.
Yeah.
So, okay, good. Also, I think like just to picture that, and I wanted to mention it. I think the way the carrier of you moves around is because it doesn't have like a normal energy source or whatever. What if it basically like has like kind of slings itself forwards via like vines that it attaches to like other objects? And I know because of like no gravity in space and whatever, it's a bit weird. I don't know how this works. I don't think that it would actually work in like real space, but this is magic, so it still works.
It'll look cool.
Yeah, like it kind of like launches itself forward. Or you could also say, okay, it grows itself forward and then like slowly pulls it. It's would still not work because of gravity. But anyway, that's how it's moving, and I think you see like parts of like vines of like growing out of the carrier and like growing towards the piece of the sun that is just like floating around.
Okay.
And I don't have a good token for that, unfortunately. Yeah. Anyway, so that's what's happening here while you're tussling around. A quick note: do we want to take a break now, or do we want to like finish this beat and then take another break? I think I'd rather finish that part, like your like conflict up there and like what's happening down at the bridge, and then we'll take a break if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that works for me.
Yeah. Okay.
That's fine by me.
Okay. So then let's keep rolling. Frey.
Yeah.
There's like a mess going on.
There's a whole mess.
The person family is there, and you are alone, which probably isn't all that great. I kind of want to give both of you B plot stuff, even though it doesn't make sense. I don't know. Just to like, there has to be like a way to like alleviate some stuff here, but also you can also clear risks with doing the cool off move. So that's also like something that you could do. But yeah, and I think what I'll do now is I'll treat both persons as one character that needs just to make the rolls easier, right? I don't know how many rolls. I don't know. Like, I think 2 needs 2 risks to be taken out, or like find some other way to make them go away.
You have a
and also she's expecting tea. Did you bring tea?
I mean, if I did, it would now be on the floor. I don't think Frey did not think that there would be anyone in here. I think. So I think at least like playing honestly to like how I entered the scene, I think Frey did not expect anyone to be in here. I'm play your characters like a stolen car. I would like to scramble off of. I don't have a gravity clock with Glam.
You could have one. You can always make one.
I can always make one. I don't know if I want to because Glam seems kind of shitty, and I don't want to have. Glam seems so shitty. I don't want to have a relationship.
I just want everyone to be aware of their possibilities, you know, like.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, I've been wondering what I should be able to do. This is a perfect thing. Um, great. I'm gonna get on my internal com to my employer Apophis, and I'm gonna say to him, um, uh, sir, sir, I don't wish to alarm you and Julie, but uh, I I have tracked two members of your siblings' household
It's
to
the mother.
the the two members of it's
It's
their
only
mother.
like it's on like technically
Ah,
it's only the like it's only Glam because Slam is working for him. Slam
oh,
is his captain, basically. It's the captain of his estate,
okay.
or
And
will
is the
be.
slam and is sla does Slam work and Slam works for Apophis?
Like, is going to. I think this is like this weird thing of like, okay, everything is being set up. Maybe they said
Right.
hi to one another once, something like that.
Oh, okay. So Apophis would know that Slam is like going to take up
Yeah,
that
yeah.
role of the guard. Okay. Um. You know what? Even so, this is too fun a thing to try and do. I would like to. I'm just going to call in and just gonna call my boss and say, because Frey did not know that this person was supposed to be here. So Frey is going to say, sir, I wanted to check in quickly. Is other siblings person supposed to be in the bridge? I know that we've been hearing reports of rebel activity in the uh, area, and I wanted to be absolutely certain that uh, there were no issues um, with their being here, that they were expected to be down here.
With other person, you mean Glam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, I want to to be clear, what I want to try and do is I want to, I think this is a plus talk clash, and I want to try and uh I want to try and convince Apophis that he needs to come down here, because I think because there is rebel activity um that the siblings person are doing what I was intending to do,
Okay.
like disable the estate or something.
Okay. And you wanted to roll Weather the Storm?
Oh, okay, yeah, that would make
Yeah.
that would.
I mean,
Yeah,
it
that
doesn't
makes sense.
say with talk, but I don't think like
I
it
that would
can
be
also be
plus no.
exchange blows. Now let's do exchange blows because you would kind of give him a danger that way, and I think he needs one. So
Can I pitch a help on this?
oh, please.
Yeah.
So is that, sir, there are reports of rebel activity, times out perfectly with like right when me and the bodyguard collide. So there's this big loud crashing sound of battle in the background while you're saying this. Reports of rebel activity there coming through the comm channel. Does that work?
Yeah, we could frame it in such a way that maybe like one of the checkpoints says, there's like they're late, like, you know, in that regard, that they're knowing, okay, something is weird. They were like so much faster a moment ago, and now they are late. I don't know what's going on. So like there's like in that sense, because space and sound. Ooh, wow. But yeah.
Wow.
I always think that like in space, like when you hear sounds, it's actually everything around it, like sending out sound files that are being played on like open comms channels, and this is how you hear sound in space. But anyway, yeah, like let's just like roll it up in a like a help or hinder thing here. I think that's kind of cool, like having that in that regard. But you would still have to roll in some way for that.
Right. So for the help roll, is that just going to be a flat 2d6?
Yeah, help or hinder is like when you help or hinder someone to influence their attempts to do something. Roll, and then you can you could roll. I think you could get a +1 for if they helped or hindered you previously, the sortie, because she did help you.
Okay.
Or like you did help her. And also you can, like, because it involves someone else that you have gravity with, you can always roll gravity in these cases.
Okay. Then that would be 2d6 plus 1. All right. Here's hoping.
Okay. 7. 7 to 9 is above, but you become entangled in the consequences. Ooh, this could be fascinating. And did you roll gravity or like the?
I'll say gravity for that.
Okay. When you make a move involving someone you have gravity with, you can roll plus gravity in place of a trait value and advance the gravity clock, so you can add a tick to that. Okay, you can now, Frey. You can roll with advantage.
Nice. All right. 3d6 plus 2 because I'm rolling talk, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm doing exchange blows.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Now
All right.
that's a good
10.
one. Also, no consequences. Good. Exchange blows. On a 10 plus, either your opponent takes a risk or you take a risk and you put your opponent in peril. Maybe not do that.
Yeah, I think that might be a bit dangerous for me. Cool. I would like. Oh wait, so so it's a risk on. So it's you decide what the risk is.
Yeah.
And given that's Apophis, I think like the risk is whatever Apophis decides to do.
Yeah, I think so, and here's the thing. Did you do that to give Glam a risk?
Yeah, I think my idea is that Glam and Slam will both like. But basically, I'm somewhat under suspicion. My goal is to have like everyone here to be under suspicion.
Okay.
Kind of. Yeah.
No, then yeah, that's what I was suggesting. Then to give them the risk, like mistrusted, or like something like that. I have a handy thing here, so let's do this and this. Okay. Does mistrusted work for you? What's like a nice word for that?
Yeah. Suspected.
Suspected traitors.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So let's just linger here, like, because basically, if you push it here, you could strike decisively and remove them from here. So, and you still have him on comms. So, because that would be cool.
Could he be on his way down?
I think there's like, yeah, okay, I'll God damn it, that's my mother's butler. I'm very, like, things are very busy here right now. Is it like, could you? I cannot, like, I have to prepare my gentleman in a few minutes. Like, could you keep this quiet for a moment? Like, basically, you have to push him, or like have to push him to do something more than just have him be aware that there might be a problem.
I think I'd say something. Sir, the quality. I have always believed that the quality of a household reflect that the quality of a man is reflected in the quality of his household, and I would hate on this day. I would hate on this day of your rising to prominence that there would be any disruptions to your ascent. I am but one person facing down two. I very much hope there is nothing untoward happening here, but I am afraid that without assistance, there may be difficulties facing the ceremony.
Yeah. What's your approach outside?
My approach is mundane.
Okay, I don't think that this matters. I don't think so. Because I was like, no, he's definitely profane. So, okay, so yeah, that's strike decisively with talk.
All right. Okay. So I roll again.
Yeah.
All right.
Is there
Cool.
is there something else that could be done here? I don't think so.
+2. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's some good dice rolling at like opportune moments. So
Oh!
you strike through director characters and so on and so on. Yeah, I think he's just like says, fine. I'll send some people over. You just detain them here, and Frey, I really appreciate this. Today, like it seems like it's been busy, and you seem like someone I can trust. And yeah, I think this is, and I just want to keep this thing a bit moving forward because I just realized, oh wait a second, we are almost only 1 hour left. So, people arrive, they take them away. You end up being alone in the bridge, while over in space, in the heat of the moment, Jacquette realized that, like, basically her charge is still alive, but like in an escape pod, and breaks the contact, retrieves him, and retreats. So basically, to create a scene where we can now take a break, and after that do the attack on the estate itself. Does this sound good?
Sounds great.
Because
Sure.
who wants to deal with these ancillary things when there's like a big house to do something with, and also a son to talk to? So I think these are the things that we will be doing after the break. Should we just say, like once, like on top of the hour, like 50 minutes let's say 10 minutes, like 55.
Yeah. Sounds good.
10 minutes sounds good.
Okay, see you around, and everyone else, bye. Okay, we should be back. Hello, everyone. We are Roll Plus Bond, and we are doing our annual anniversary charity live streaming marathon. This year, we are raising money for Trans Lifeline. Trans Lifeline connects trans people to commit to community support. At some point, I will get this read through correct the first time. To Trans Lifeline connects trans people to the community support and resources we need to survive and thrive. Note that the "we" in the sentence means that Trans Lifeline is run by and for trans people. There are active hotlines in the US and in Canada, and they offer microgrants for name changes and to people who are incarcerated or recently have been released. And these are available to U.S. residents. So far, we have raised $3,170, and our current goal is $4,000 after we kind of ran through at least two goals, I've realized yesterday during our first day, which is great. The stream will continue on until tomorrow midnight, and that's what's happening there. We are currently playing Armour Astir Advent, which has been made by Briar Sovereign. You can find the game at wergazelle.itch.io, and we are currently in a struggle to destroy a space English country estate that is going to fly out into a different part of space to put another sun in prison, as a previous estate did so, in the system we're currently in. There has been some struggle happening, a top hat wearing robot has been exploded. Frey, the attendant, had some struggles with the person siblings, but that had been resolved with just framing them for doing something that she was planning to do, as one is to do. And anyway, so let's abolish prisons, and also the idea that any public good is only good as long as it isn't privatized, or is only good for privatization. Anyway, so we skip forward a little bit, and a little bit. Basically, the conflict around the sun piece has been absolved, and we can now resume. Grizz, do you want to talk to this fragment of the sun?
I want to talk to the sun.
Okay. How do you do that? How do you talk to the sun?
I don't know. I've never talked to a sun before. So I think, and you said the vines from our carrier were starting to reach out towards the sun fragment, right?
Yeah, I think at this point it's basically being held by it so that it's not drifting aimlessly through space.
Yeah, I think that's part of what captures Grizz's attention there immediately, because I've already had concerns about Captain Commander's approach to this, and particularly with how they want to use the sun fragment, and I think that, coupled with having my own convictions seriously challenged very recently, I think it is very important to me to try and find out what the sun wants before we start imposing things on it. So I think what this looks like is probably launching up. I've been picturing this floating kind of up towards the carrier. Is that what you're thinking too? Like above us. I'm going up to get towards the fragment.
Yes. Apologies. I just tried to add the Tiltify tracker, and it no. I'm just throwing my hands up. I'm sorry. I should have checked this earlier. I apologize for this. Anyway, so you want to the like carrier is basically what if like a fake ruined castle in an English garden that was floating in space had arms that looked like tree roots and were holding a tiny sun or small sun in like a weird like round prison thing above its head. Like it had like in a Zelda game and they just got it out of a treasure chest. Kind of. This is how it looks like.
Oh, God. So it looks even more like, ooh, I've triumphantly got this. Boy,
completely unintentional, but yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think Grizz and the Mycorrhiza launch up to get to where I can grab with one hand onto one of the vines and place the other on the containment of the sun fragment itself. And I think so. We've already seen Grizz sort of like, move their awareness through the mycorrhiza and extensions of the fungus that it can produce. And I think that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to like create a push out the fungus far enough, sufficiently to achieve contact. I'm not trying to like push into it or anything like that. And see if I can touch any sort of consciousness there.
Okay. I think they're like two different.
I was gonna.
Yeah, please.
I was gonna ask if that's if like first this would maybe be either like I wonder if it's almost like a read the room or something to establish the contact, but I don't know.
Yeah, like I was like swaying around. First I thought, oh, that's with magic, but then maybe not quite there yet. And then it's like
that was kind of my thinking.
And then is it dispel uncertainties? Oh, read the room could also work, or maybe it's weather the storm.
Oh, weather the storm. I wasn't sure if this. I guess talking to a sun, if you've never talked to a sun before, would definitely be trying to do something safely under pressure. And I think, especially if we read safely broadly here, that Grizz is very much concerned about not doing this aggressively, not doing this invasively.
Yeah. Like I think, and then plus sense, right? You notice quite clear signs of danger or bad vibes. Maybe the sun has bad vibes, which would be understandable considering the state of things.
Fair. Okay, so that's going to be, I have +2 in sense, so I will roll 2d6 +2. Oh, not good. That's a 3 and a 1, +2 is a 6.
Okay. Yeah, there's like I think this is like a very simple thing. You get one thing. The sun wants to be free at any cost. Yeah. That's all you get there. It's, it might just be a fragment, but like you can't just take a fragment of like a thing as large as the star and just think, oh, it's just like, and not take a part of everything with it. And so this thing reflects the degree of like energy it like it like has and expresses, but also like its desire to not be in prison. And I think like one part here is also like, because you are so focused on that part, maybe you just don't see anything else, but more. Oh, that's the thing that I already said that there would be. This is my confirmation. So that's what the sun wants.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That checks out.
Yeah. And I don't think that I want to do more here. This can be a lingering consequence, I think. And doesn't have to we don't have to resolve everything right now. And also, making a move as hard as I want can also mean I don't make a hard move. So
yeah, no,
yeah.
and
so
yeah, I definitely think there's stuff that's going to happen from that.
Yeah,
even if it doesn't happen in exactly this moment.
I just like this kind of vibe more than just okay, it explodes because. Also, Frey, because you only took risks and they were all associated to the situation you're in and the social awkwardness, you can clear all of those. Because the situation has resolved, right? So you are free to get into trouble again, for a moment. Okay,
Love to get into trouble.
So and I think still it's this whole you so you Grizz and you're the rest of your basically of the carrier and all that and with the sun piece are now slowly making their way towards the estate. And as you are making your way towards the estate, and at some point people will realize, which is why I already set up these three. I love that I can just call them these three gentlemen right here. It's such a nice ring to it. Over here, set them up, but in the meantime, Frey, the Pearson siblings have been taken away, and they've just left you on the bridge. And because you are obviously way too honorable to do anything illegal here. So what do you want to do? There's stuff here, and they basically told you, okay, would be cool if you were to would be able to shoot at the gentleman outside, but also if you could disable the defense systems of the estate.
One thing I wanted to check before I did anything, or one thing I wanted to do before I check anything. Does Grizz still have a peril?
Yes.
Yes, I do. I still have shaken convictions.
Okay. I think the first thing I would in this moment, I have a moment of quiet, and I would like to use my on your feet move. So it's once per sortie you may cool off to reduce a peril another player has taken to a risk. And so you're I'd quite like to I would like to have picked up on I would like to have picked up on your uncertainty, Grizz.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I wonder if maybe because we've been having this shared. I wonder if particularly because I'm getting distracted by things, if the communication we've had is becoming less like a communication thing and more just like a link. So instead of me, you're feeling my. I mean, anxiety is probably too mild a word, just coming off over that.
And what I wanted to, I think, because it was encountering the I forget Evil's commitment to the authority that shook Grizz, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think I pick up on your concern, and I think I want to say it's I don't know if I don't know if it helps. I don't know if this will help you. Um, I don't know if this will help you, my comrade. But I would urge you. Our foes may at this point seem like they're like a monolith, committed and unassailable in their the force they can deploy and in their mental commitment to 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 conquest. But I would say I am proof that no edifice is truly without its cracks. There are many, and I would believe that you, more than anyone else, would know how even the mightiest tree or the barest ground can actually be host to forces that will someday advance its decay. And yeah, I just want to sort of I want to reassure you that victory is. I want to reassure you that the possibility of victory, with a cool off.
Cool. Yeah, I think as you're saying that, we get like the shot of Grizz in the again the cockpit of the mycorrhiza, which is really just them shoved in just a big thing of mushrooms and other fungus. But I think it's a very symbiotic thing where like them being uncomfortable, you could almost like read the fungus tightening up and twitching in some, and as you're saying that, you can almost see it like organically relax around Grizz as even Grizz maybe relaxes a little and like kind of says as much to themselves as to you, but out loud, I say, you know, everywhere there is growth, everywhere there is decay, and I think kind of repeats that a couple times, almost like a mantra. Everywhere there is growth, everywhere there is decay. And yeah, I will switch that peril over to danger.
I will. So I
Risk,
need to.
right?
I need to roll first.
Oh, you need to roll for that. Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry, I'll just. So I can roll talk. Is that okay, Mocha?
Oh yes.
Cool. All right. 2d6 plus 2. Oh shit!
What a turnaround, really.
I got double 6.
That's
Okay, good. That
cool.
that means I don't have to undo the narration I just did.
Yeah. No. Perfect.
All right. So I still have shaken convictions, but they're a risk, not a peril.
Maybe you can like reduce it down to shaken or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's not that deep anymore. It's more like, you know, that thing when you're like, when like something happens where you feel like socially really awkward, and then the immediate part of like where you feel really awkward disappears. It's more like the ugh.
No, I have no idea what feeling socially awkward is like. I'm sorry, you're gonna have to go with a different metaphor.
I'm excuse me. I play role-playing games. I have no idea what being socially awkward is.
You know, like who knows? Maybe someone watches this and you know, just has interactions with people and doesn't think about them for like the next 2 weeks. This exists, right? Okay, this This is great. Because you're all now in a good state. This looks like the Three Stooges or something like that here on the Roll20. Okay. Good. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start? I think we have to start with the approach of the carrier ride, because it has like something that's monumental, but maybe it's something that happened while this conversation was going on. I kind of like that as an idea.
That works.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and I think like you have this estate where I don't have a visual reference for like the people, like for anyone, just like imagine like, again, English country estate, like a building that's too large, surrounded by a landscape that appears natural but isn't. A lot of fences, probably with spikes on them. They probably have cannons. What if an English country estate was also a battleship?
Well, and this is the newly built one, right?
Yes.
So it's probably got, but you don't want to look like you're newly built.
Yeah.
So it's probably like very obviously artificial aging on it and stuff.
So yesterday, I just recall something I was just thinking about yesterday during my walk is in the 19th century. At least I know that about like German rich people houses, and I'm pretty sure this is like very similar to like British rich people houses. Is like they were like, because like there were like different attempts to like different architectural styles like in parallel. There was like classicism, which is just like, okay, make it look like a Renaissance building which looked like a building from like ancient Greece or whatever. And there's like houses that are like trying to reflect like Baroque architecture and all that kind of stuff. So, and there was also like at the like turn of the century, like, and I have no clue. Let's take the Googling something during the stream. What's the English word for? I know the architecture style in German. It's called Jugendstil, youth style, something like that. Early 20th century stuff and that's the interesting part actually. Let me see if I can find it in a dictionary. I have even no idea if this was something outside of Germany, if I'm honest. Art Nouveau. Yeah, well, that sounds much more like interesting. And the interesting part of that direction is it was meant to look very organic a lot of the time, like balconies kind of looking like they were growing out of the building instead of like just being attached, that kind of stuff. Like a very famous, or like most of the the most famous, I think, Art Nouveau building is like the cathedral in Barcelona. I think Sagrada Familia, I think, is Art Nouveau, because the architect was like one of them.
Gaudi,
yeah. So, and my idea was like, what if, because that's the son of the older family and all that kind of stuff, what if this estate kind of has more of like this style, which again makes it kind of more even worse, because it tries to look even more like, it's organic. It's like an organic structure. Everything looked like it was grown in some way when it was just like built, and it's being used to colonize something and reshape nature and privatize sunlight and all that kind of stuff. So if kind of like, again, I don't have a good visual reference because I like had no time, but like somehow like imagine something like that. So that's how that looks. And and I never described the bridge, by the way, Frey. Imagine something like a room where like rich people in the 19th century would have played war games, and a library and like a smoking room, something like that, like very like plush seating. there's a big table with like a big map and like things where you like shove like smaller things around on. And I think like the map is like a representation of the area around it, but it's like very much still like shaped like an old wargaming or like war room in that regard. And there's like also like a glass floor that where once this thing would have like occupied the sunlight would come through like at the bottom of it. Like that's kind of like the idea I had here.
Oh wow! So it's like lit from below.
Yeah, it's like it's meant to be lit from below. Right now it isn't because there is nothing there. So maybe it's like also like very very weird like emergency lighting going on as well. Like maybe something that makes it look really weird. It's like kind of like cold and blue, like more like that, because like everything else looks kind of like, oh, this is meant to be like the comfy room where the important people like talk about the important stuff, and now it's just like it looks very sterile in a weird way. But yeah, you are there. The mates of your employer have entered their gentlemen, which are all the expedition, wearing all the expedition outfits. Obviously, I'll talk about what that looks like in a moment. But and are like lining themselves up to defend them, like defend their place. So, and you're in there. What do you do? There's like stuff around. There are probably consoles that look strange. Feel free to pitch something if you have an idea of like how would like a control console look like in this way in this place.
I think a control. I think gosh, what would like a really like I think I could go with just like that it's big and everything is big and clunky and clicky. Like it's just huge. It's like there's like it's not I sit and type at a keyboard. It's like there's like genuine like big physical levers and it I kind of hate to use this as the example, but like you know how in like the new Doctor Who series, like how the TARDIS is operated, like there's just like you pull something out and you yank on a lever and you punch and you like toot a horn or something, like it's all like big clunky machinery sort of a thing.
I never watched Doctor Who, but I think that like that kind of tracks what I also like. The idea I had is like you don't have like screens or whatever. Everything is being like, you know, like the old like stock market tickers. It's all like a running printout of stuff that is like that you see in like that kind of stuff. Maybe there's like also a globe that has like a bunch of buttons on it that you might have to press or whatever. Oh god, it's all awful. Anyway,
it's just the biggest. It doesn't have to be this complicated. It just is.
This is okay. Like a group of people that learned how to do space travel, and then they decided, no, it has to look like this. So,
I don't know. So, like, what? So, what I would like to do is I would like to activate. I would like to activate part of the plan and start sort of training guns on. I would like to. I think what I would like to do is I'd like to help or hinder. Does it make more sense for me to exchange blows or to help or hinder Grizz?
I mean, like, what do you want? I kind of just also like want to like paint over. Yeah, you know how this works. You don't have to like figure out how it works, because that's like that's just like needless barriers here at this point. But yeah, like it really depends on like what you want to do. Do you want the first action to be Grizz doing something, or like that side of the conflict being something, or you shooting one of these things in the back, and then maybe also like your maid retinue starting to cause mayhem amongst the guests.
Yeah, I think what I would like is to, yeah, I don't want to take the camera focus from Grizz fighting wise. So I think I what I would like to do is yeah, I would like to help or hinder Grizz, but like and like this is actually kind of the best thing, right? Because like you say, I don't really know what I'm doing here, but I know enough to make the guns start firing.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
so I'm not like, yeah, cool, perfect. All right, I'm gonna roll to help or hinder Grizz, and I think I can roll +2 to this because I've spent because they're part of one of my. This is all part of one of my hooks, and they helped me previously.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. All right. 2d6 + 2.
Okay, a 9.
9.
You do it,
All
but you are also implicated, which will be interesting.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I think that's great with like the messiness of the guns going on.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Good.
Do you tell me that you're starting to do this?
Oh yeah, yes. I think I saw. Yeah. I say, Grizz, bombs away.
Okay. Cool.
Just very.
So how are the gentlemen reacting?
I mean, it depends like on how the rest goes, right? This is right now is
right.
In the nebulous space between actions where like a lot of things can happen. Just like to quickly like paint the picture how the expedition outfit is. Obviously, they're wearing pith helmets, have a white shirt, a beige vest, and khaki shorts. They're carrying long rifles, which I think are just like very long muskets. They're ranged sniper and have sabers. So that's what they are wearing. And yeah, love to come up with terrible outfits for robot humans. Okay.
Oh, before Chris acts, I also want to give him. I also want to use one of my B plot moves. Give another player confidence on the next move, but complicate things for myself.
I don't think like don't you like already get. No, you get advantage when you help a hinder, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And I actually would be acting with desperation here because these are profane, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to cancel that out, which will be good. Okay. How close together are these? Are the gentlemen?
Yeah. They are in general. These are. I'll treat them as a group.
Okay.
So these are a small gang.
Okay.
So you would in that regard rolling with a disadvantage unless you have an area, like a weapon with area. So
I do. My consuming spores have an area tag.
So that's good, and they take two dangers to be defenseless. And just quickly because we see them shortly. Partisan, which is the left one, looks like Jared from Zeta Gundam. Halby Erd looks like Marshmallow from Double Zeta Gundam. And Gizarm looks like Tres Kushrinada from Gundam Wing. I couldn't find like another like annoying C-tier Gundam rival, so I just took him. Like in general, like just like shitty guys from Gundam. That's their vibes. So
for
those people who are aware, like in general, just like imagine like people that look awful and are awful.
I'm gonna have to ruin Trace's beautiful eyebrows, though.
No.
Okay. So I think Grizz in the Mycorrhiza turns around from facing the sun fragment. I'm not leaving from up here yet, though, and looks sees them down there. The cannons start firing, and will once again let the release the consuming spores out of my out of the fungus extending from the armor, and send this cloud of spores down at the cluster of the gentleman. So this is a familiar. I'm using channel. I have advantage, and I have both confidence and desperation, so those cancel out, right?
Yes.
Okay, so this is 3d6 plus 3, taking the 2 higher. Okay, so that is a 7 plus 5, 2, 5, 2, so 7 plus 3 is 10.
I always forget take the highest, and I think, oh, that's a 12. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah.
So this is gonna put 1 danger on them.
Yeah, either you can put 1 danger on them, or like put a peril on them and take a risk yourself. If you want to.
Oh, I like putting a peril on them and taking a risk myself. I think the peril I'd like to put on them is I don't know, not quite disintegrating, but something close to that.
Crumbling.
Crumbling, yes, crumbling. Thank you. And I will take a risk. Do I decide the risk, or do you?
I think you because you are taking the risk.
Okay. The risk is maybe something like overwhelmed seems a little much, but something like that of like I'm moving a lot of magic through me to make this happen. And that's maybe strained. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Okay. Like this is being a very sustained conflict, and I'm like literally locked into the like in direct contact with where all this magic is moving through to do this. Yeah. So I am shaken and strained. So I'm ready to be a martini, and but they now have that peril.
Yeah. Just like for information, I put a like 4-step clock up here. That is basically, and I ticked it once. This is like the carrier working towards like taking over this estate. This is like again, the image is like, and we started like very, very early. I posted the thing of like the Unreal Tournament, capture the flag map, colliding worlds, I think, or facing worlds, is it? I think this is something like that, but like what if like instead of like stone bridges extending out, it's like roots and branches and all that kind of stuff, just like extending out and like kind of slamming into the building and creating connections and all that kind of stuff, where like probably where then like actually like there's like troop movement happening and all that kind of stuff, and the sun is like shining ever brighter, like on that end, like the tiny sun that you're carrying. Mm-hmm. I think I'm just repurposing one of these tiny like stones here. This is the sun, even though it doesn't look like it. Use your imagination. Yeah, cool. That's a good first step. God, I think like one of these shitty dudes like probably says something like never. I don't think they ever were like in actual combat. These are people that mostly do like
mouse hunting.
Yeah, something like that, or like skeet shooting, that kind of stuff. Yeah. This is their outfit. They wanted to, they actually wanted to do some like skeet shooting or like stuff like that, and now they have to fight. it's like, what? No. Like that, and they're hoping that their pal comes and saves them. And I think also, like, in general, Apophis makes his way to his gentleman. But who knows if we'll get there. Looking at the time.
I wanted to say, so it's just a quick thing. So in order to give a player confidence, I have to complicate
Yeah.
things for myself.
What do you want to have? What do you want to happen?
I would quite like Apophis to turn up in the bridge.
Oh yeah, that's maybe it's like coming in. It's like, I wanted to thank you, and then seeing you like
Yeah,
using everything.
I
It's
have
like,
the cannons.
yeah. I don't think that this is like a personal attendant. Like, I'm very sorry, Frey. I know, like, I appreciate your engagement, not engagement. That would be the German word for saying it. Your like effort that you're putting forward here. But I don't think that it's appropriate for like an personal attendant of mine to, work the cannons. Also, I need you to lay out my driving gear.
I think Frey says well, you would be the master of inappropriate behavior, and I think Frey would like to. Frey has this like ongoing kind of like almost like innate link with Grizz, and I think, okay, this is like maybe stretching a lot. I would like to use this psychic link I seem to have developed with Grizz to reach through Grizz to the mushrooms that I have fed everyone, and like trigger their effect. Yeah, I would basically I would like to weather the storm to see if I can do that.
I would
as like,
also like say you might, if you want, you could also do just again, not only because looking at the time, but also because I think it's cool. I just went into my notes and gave Apophis 2 dangers that he got from his mother. And why not just have him be like in that regard defenseless? So if you want, you could also like try and strike decisively here with that, because I think that would be much cooler. Because well, he just put his mother's butler in prison, and his mother is not very happy about that. And nothing has been going as planned. He has no idea where his papa is, and it's just, it's his birthday.
Okay.
Anyway, so.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds great. All right. I will roll. In which case, I'll roll. Can I roll talk?
Sure.
To talk to mushrooms.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have a channel, so that's always the tricky thing, right? But what I think is like, in general, like this could have cool consequences, so I'm happy with that.
Sweet.
Can I help by like if this is reaching through me by sort of facilitating that?
Oh yes, please.
Okay. I don't think I have a specific hook that I can do for this. So this is just going to be the 2d6 plus 1 for the help.
Oh, I think it's. Oh yeah, no. Oh, you might have 2d6 plus 2? No, 2d6 plus 1, right? You only get the +1 once if I've helped or hindered in the past.
I don't know how
Right.
how gravity clocks work in terms of like the pluses. I can't imagine that just because you advanced it once, you get a 2d6 plus 2 here. So
Ooh, okay. Well, sorry.
No, never mind. No worries. All right. Okay. So I rolled 2d6 plus. So I rolled just 2d6 plus 2.
Yeah.
It's all right. I got a 10.
So yeah, I
Sorry, Eric. You go.
yeah, it was just like thinking because I don't want this to be gross. So so maybe this is like more something and we can is he just going to pass out, or is it more like something where like okay, something weird's going on and like there's like a general like evacuation thing going on because now you're also like the people are also like falling over.
Yeah, I think he finally starts to cotton on that I'm not actually firing at the. I'm not firing at Grizz. I'm firing at the mushroom monster. I'm firing at like trying to fire at his friends, and like he steps forward, and then like he, as you say, he just kind of like falls over. He just kind of he like falls on the floor.
Yeah. What I kind of like want to end up is like okay, should like the outcome of this is like okay, he's like the prisoner like of the cause, like because that makes things would make things if there were to be like another session incredibly awfully complicated because okay, what do you do with this guy and all that kind of stuff, and still he's your employer, you're still his butler. So I kind of like like that part, and just like have it like him maybe not completely catching on, and more like is there something, and then he falls over. So again, for the fictitious next episode is like him like was there something, I don't know, and him maybe wondering that you are able to walk around freely. Anyway, so the consequences, I think for Grizz, I don't want to like God, you already have again 2 risks. I don't want to give you another
Trained to become be upgraded to a peril. Is that like
yeah, exhausted. How about exhausted?
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
That's a good one. I always forget that you can also like upgrade dangers. That's a good one. So yeah, I'll also let's just take this thing once more. And let's again. How about that? Let's ignore clocks and all that kind of stuff. Let's just do a final thing here because we're almost done. If you want, Chris, it's up to you. You feel the sun calling out to you again. It wants to be free.
It does want to be free. I want to smash that thing open.
Yeah, you feel the heat coming out of it, and it's like it's straining against the bars of its prison.
Yeah, I think I'll turn back around because I said I wasn't I wasn't leaving from beside it, and just maybe even like cast aside the mushroom cap shield to be able to two-hand the stem mace, and just do like the fully overhead and bring it down on the jail, the prison.
Yeah. Guys, this is just me. You roll what you feel is appropriate, but like I was feeling like, okay, this is a moment to like to weave magic, kind of, to.
Sure. If I'm like trying to, as much as anything, because it's probably not a purely physical construction around this anyway. It's probably a matter of shattering whatever arcane or magical bonds are holding a piece of
or
the
like
sun.
just giving like a push from your side so that it can break out like itself, break it out, like break the sun out, like on its own.
Does my approach going to affect this one way or the other?
I wouldn't think that much about approach here. Like it's fine. Again, like the reason why I suggested weaving magic is because this like as the last big thing, and weave magic can have like a large amount of like different consequences. So this is why I suggested that. But like if you just want to break it out, we can play it that way as well.
No, I like using that. I just wanted to check and make sure that there wasn't anything else.
No.
So I'm rolling 2d6 plus 3 here because I'm using channel for weave magic.
Yeah.
13, 6 and a 4 plus.
Okay. You describe it. I don't say anything. You tell me what this looks.
So I think the weave magic part of this is like Grizz almost like taking control of the vines of the carrier, and they like wrap up around Grizz's around the mycorrhiza's arm while they're held up, and so instead of it just being the mycorrhiza, which using mechanics here, instead of this being a tier 3 thing, this is suddenly a tier 5 thing, smashing down on this, and maybe even the mace shatters here too. But it cracks open the prison and releases this fragment of the sun, which I think explodes, like light just explodes outward. I think it throws back the vines, it throws the mycorrhiza away, and I'll leave it to you to say what actually happens to the to the fragment of the sun here once it's freed. But I think the mycorrhiza is thrown towards the estate. But as because again, this is a channel roll of a 12 or higher, so a bunch of new stuff is about to start growing. I think it's almost like the light passes through the mycorrhiza like a prism, and then where that light casts on the estate suddenly grows up with real natural growth of all sorts, consuming and overgrowing the very artificial and constructed garden and stuff that was there. But I think the mycorrhiza, like this happens, and the mycorrhiza itself goes like crashing down, probably slamming into the estate itself, like bringing down a wall or something. How does that sound?
Yeah, that's good. As for the sun, like what I've been thinking is like, okay, this is, and I have no idea how long this this specific sun has been in prison, like, or like the thing it like was like being separated from, but like I think there's still like within this part of the sun there's this longing for like not being restrained, like this finally I can move, finally I can just do what I want to do. I don't want to say what I was meant to do, because who cares what someone is meant to be? It's about what, like, even what a star wants, you know? It's important. So, and it's just this like, it's like and the same goes for like, who knows if any of you had like seen like regular sunlight, right? It's more like this weird constructed thing that is more like working like a gigantic like stage light to a degree, that can shine its light on places, but also can just decide not to. And it's completely out of your control. And suddenly there's something in this part of this solar system where there's just light. And probably some things are starting to circle around it, like smaller objects and all that kind of stuff, because there's still like something happening. So, and I think the carrier, like your carrier, is like thrown away and like drifts around it, and like the estate, now completely overgrown with things, is like drifting, like circling around it, like several other things. And everyone else, like the rich people, most of them are escaping, fleeing away, at least the most important ones, those that have name and faces. The other ones are taken prisoner, because we need more for like the next episodes, right? There needs to be like more conflict, because the son itself, the big one, is still in prison, and this would be like the setup basically for like that happening, which would be a much more complicated endeavor. But like, you struck a blow to these people. This might have been the first time that something like that has ever happened to them. I kind of like the idea of that, like them at this point feeling so secure in like what they're doing, that like, oh, nothing will ever happen, and suddenly no, like this has happened, and it's a nice thing. And there's at least in this part the sign of things maybe not being awful forever, which is good, I think. Do you have like ideas for like what your characters would be doing next, and how things would be going from there on?
I wonder if because I have this image of like, once this happens, I contact Frey and actually address her. You know, Frey, talk to the sun. Good plan. But I wonder if we don't take this estate ourselves away, separate from the carrier, because I think, while Forsaken convictions became shaken and became only a risk of shaken, like that still happened. I think Grizz still would come away with this with some unease about the certainly Captain Commander's intentions, and I wonder if, but at the same time, I trust Frey now. I wonder if us and the maids and whoever else of the staff is interested, if we don't take this estate off to carry on the fight ourselves, rather than continuing on with that other faction of the cause.
Okay, so we take this sort of new overgrown estate out into the stars together.
Yeah, and begin, after recovering, planning our next move. That it seems like we're more into a more explicitly liberatory move, I guess.
Cool. Yeah, that rules. I came up with, I just realized what our group name could be. It's a terrible pun.
Yeah.
It's the Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah.
It's spelled SUNS.
Okay.
No, love it.
Somewhere in like a basement of the estate, you find like a bunch of old motorcycles. I'm sorry. That's
yeah, I like that. And I think, yeah, I think I would like the last image of Frey to be learning from Grizz how to do some like proper like nature tending, not gardening, but like ways of ways to like help a forest, or help a wild space grow without sort of disrupting its wildness. I know there's some practices I've heard about of like controlled burns and things like this where they aren't aimed at clearing forest, they're aimed at like clearing dead wood to help forest sort of continue going, that sort of thing.
Oh, I love that as like yeah, the last shot, especially again with this having originally been framed as explicitly eco-insurrectionary. Yeah, I think that's great. I just want to make sure that we're very clear that Oscar is right there alongside us in this shot while we're seeing it.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oscar is like chasing a rabbit, like a mushroom. No, or like a mushroom with legs, and Oscar's
Yeah.
like,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, how to cut a tree like in order to make it help grow and not to make it look like I don't know, like a top hat.
Yeah.
So the idea that there were trees shaped like top hats throughout the entire, like in the background.
It was never mentioned, but everything.
They've just been
The asteroids were all Monopoly piece shaped.
Yeah, exactly. There was definitely one race car there. God. Okay. Yeah, this is a nice place to wrap up, I think. Very unfortunate that Jamie's internet like went away apparently. Again, like let's work for a world where there is no crumbling public infrastructure because it's like collective ownership and not like privatized mess. But that's a fight for like another day. Yeah, so like if you want to like Ian and Adam, if you want to like say who you are, and like if you have anything else to plug or to say, feel free to do that. No.
I'm Adam. I have been Frey, and I've had a great time. And I have nothing worth plugging at present.
I'm Ian. I have been Grizz, and I want to say thank you to Mocha for running this. This was a lot of fun, and just everybody with Roll Plus Bond. I counted. It's only been like 6 months that I've been doing stuff with y'all, and it's been amazing to do. So thank you all.
100%. This is a hell of a server, and thank you very much for doing all of the GMing and prep.
Yeah, well, I wish I would have been able to do more. Thank you very much for like both of you to play with me here, because this is like the same. And I'm happy that like everyone had a good time. I hope like folks who have been watching had a good time. In general, like please keep donating, please keep watching. If you can, share the link around, like especially like in circles where you know that like it won't end up in the face of awful people, but overall, keep watching, donating, and supporting like stuff like this in general. And I like obviously like institutions like Trans Lifeline, but like also like fostering and creating communities like this, I think is like a very, very important thing overall, because having a space where you can feel safe and can feel comfortable enough to do things like, oh, I'm going to play a game with strangers that is about pretending to be other people, doing other things, and doing improvised storytelling. Sounds incredibly intimidating when you say it like that. But in the end, like it's a phrase to a degree, but also like it's about fun interaction between good friends or between strangers, mostly in our part. But it's still about that, and I'm very glad to have been able to provide this to people, to have been given the opportunity to indulge myself in like all of this mess. Speaking of mess, I forgot to mention it at the start. I do make video games. Sometimes I earn money with them, not a lot, but I do sometimes. If you donate, you can enter a raffle to win like Steam keys for two of my current commercial games. One is called Splinter Zone, which is like an arcade action platformer. The other one is called GB Rover, which is a platformer about fighting capitalism. And I'm currently making a game called Witcher 7, which you can wishlist on Steam. I'm just mentioning it here. It's not like a big thing. Like, do it if you want, but it's no big pressure. Which is a game about, how do I call it, infinite dogs, radical friends, and the end of history, where you're basically fighting the Enlightenment. And the graphics of these people here without the hats, that's like a boss in the game. It's called The Body of the Ultimate Human. Just so you know, like, I'm always on this. Like, when I build stuff, it's always kind of like this. So anyway, it's been a blast. I'm going to throw off and end this, and we'll see us in the next game, which I also have to like switch over in the end screen, so don't be confused for a second. Also, I have forgotten what the next game is. Let's take a look in the schedule. Do we have a schedule? Oh, somewhere we do have one. But anyway, I'm late. Come again?
Babes in the Woods, I believe, is next.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So let's watch that. I'm already late. Thank you very much for watching. See you around, and so on and so forth. Bye, everyone.